Noting a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. If you could please, those of you, please rise if you can and join me in the pledge, followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and its manifest bounty. We praise your name, knowing that we walk in your grace, acknowledging that we are all blessed beyond what we actually deserve. We humbly ask that you grant us courage, discernment, and resolve so that we can faithfully represent those who have vested trust in us for that very purpose. For this, we pray in your Son's holy name. Amen. Amen. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular monthly meeting, Thursday, July the 9th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Welcome those in the audience and any who might be tuning in at home. We appreciate your participation. How close is the train? I think I'll wait.
We're waiting for this.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Thank you, Jim. We'll move on into our regular meeting. A little premature, sorry. And now I think we're okay. I don't see that we have any citizens' presentations or comments, unless we missed it some way. Okay. We'll move on to proclamation and recognitions. I don't see anything there as well. Are you aware of anything, Dan?
No.
Okay. So we'll move on to item 5, introduction of new employees. David.
Michael, would you like to introduce Brian?
I thought Brian was going to be here. God, you got your break.
Yeah, I know. He looks a lot different. He's got his nice boots on. He's got nice pressed jeans.
All cleaned up.
He's like, I'm right here.
Very new.
That's how new he is, all right?
Okay.
I'm Brian Sheelak. I just moved here to Weimar about a year or so ago. I'm originally from Fayetteville. Started working with the city about 3 weeks ago, I believe, and loving it so far. So yeah, that's about all I got.
Brian has done great. He already comes to us with a sea groundwater license and a CSI license, but you got to do a whole lot more than just that.
I've gotten to work on a lot of different things. Yeah, yes, sir.
He's already taken into a lot of our street projects already. I don't think you got to run backhoe or anything yet, but we're trying to get you some experience.
I've messed around with it a little bit, but nothing serious now.
Trying to get a little experience on the equipment and all that, but he's already been doing a lot of our sewer rounds, lift stations and all that, so he's completely getting thrown in cross-trained from the start, so he's been doing great, so really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Welcome to
Yeah, thank you,
Weimar.
Brian. Brian, if you don't want to stay for the entire meeting, you're welcome to go whenever you get time. Okay? All right.
It's so entertaining.
Stay as long as you like.
He's fixing to leave.
Exactly.
Let me run now.
While the door's open, let me go.
Exactly. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, city manager and staff reports. David?
Mayor, Council, my report is on pages 5 and 6. I guess the first item was we hired Brian.
All right.
So I'll let you look over those if there's any questions. If there's any items here to stick out.
Well, as you noted, the water complaint issues have just dramatically
Correct.
been reduced, so we appreciate that. And of course, we'll continue to talk about that tonight, but want to stay on top of that and do everything we can to address the water and the sewage side of the issues that the city faces.
And I did mention in our budget workshop that a private donor has donated some money towards the some improvements at the various ball fields, the Shaver Field and Veterans Park. So you'll see some work, the community will see some work going on there. in the next few weeks that is funded by a private donor.
My only question on here was, the contractors to trim the trees. Are y'all close in getting that, or?
So Michael's working with one of our companies that currently does our power lines. The lady that owns that company has created a second company within to only do non-electric lines, so at a much reduced rate. Their liability insurance is a lot less.
Okay.
And we're in the process of getting quotes for that.
Okay.
Also kicking around trying to get somebody to come in and do mowing. But whenever we have contractors, they have to be licensed and insured. We can't just hire anybody to do the work for the city. And we are we're very close to hiring another employee who will help us with the mowing and the miscellaneous jobs. But yeah, definitely the tree trimming. Did she send you back anything on that, a quote?
Not yet.
Not yet. But we were in talk with her, beginning of this week was the last time we talked to her.
I think we would possibly be their new, or their first client after they basically branched off from their electric line side to the non-electric side. So that's why it's a little bit of taking a little bit of time, yes ma'am.
Trying to figure out where the prices would come in. Okay, good.
And does this include, following that ordinance to having trees such at certain heights within the roadways that this is for, right?
Yes, 14,
Gotcha.
yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, just before we cut them loose, make sure if we could at least reach out to some of the residents. We're gonna be cutting them to give them the option, hey, we
No,
can
yeah,
either do
yeah.
it or,
Yeah, definitely. I can think of one in particular.
that's why I'm bringing that
I
up.
don't
Just a
want, I
reminder.
don't want her to come and see me.
Well, it's almost always a negative response when you start cutting people's trees, even though
Yes.
they're ordinance, so you definitely need a heads up.
At least give them an option. Say if it's not done by the time we're scheduled, we're gonna do it, but that way it gives them a little bit of time.
Exactly, and that was our plan, to do the door hanger and let them know.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll work with them on that. They'll follow our rules. And pretty much we're not gonna turn them loose and go cut this. We're pretty much just signing them, I think,
Yeah.
to do certain tasks.
Perfect.
David, I don't know if this will be yours or Jim's area, but I know we used to do this a while back. This grass that's growing in the road, like between the curb thing and the road, it's not 3 foot yet, but this just doesn't
It's
look
in the-
attractive.
So that would be more of a Michael thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay, well,
Yes.
okay, see, I was throwing it to Jim, and now we got David, Jim to Michael, okay.
I had Michael, I can't remember what street, down East Post Office?
Yes, sir.
We had the same, and the crew went and dug that out.
Well, East-South Street is one that I see all the time. And one is, it is grass that's in the road, whatever. But then on the corner of East, South, and Center, there is grass at the curb. It is 3 foot. I didn't get my tape measure out, but it's pretty tall. And the owner there on the corner, they don't weed eat that, and I don't know why, but it just doesn't look very attractive. It looks, and of course, tall grass is gonna make more mosquito
Mosquitoes,
haven,
yeah.
and we
I
don't
stopped
need that.
there
Okay,
today, and nobody was there.
okay. Well, I've just noticed it, because that's kind of a beeline street that I take, and I'm like, God, that's an eyesore, so.
I know
Okay.
when we had Chester here, he would spray very routinely.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, I kind of remember us doing it.
And
then
perhaps
I don't
if
see
we
it
get this
anymore.
new employee on board, that would be one of the tasks that he could do.
Good.
Okay, no other question on that, then we'll move to Clay.
All right, first we'll start off with the monthly reports, their handouts. And then we'll go to the quarterly report. First page, you can see our cash position at the end of the month. The second page shows our cash position in each fund. If you have any questions on this, let me know. Our check reconciliation register, I have marks out to the side of what more of the expensive items were for. total of about $500 worth of vehicle repairs per month across the city.
Those two CDs that are coming due, I know they're not due yet.
Right.
Probably staying at Fed savings.
Yes.
Probably.
We usually check the rates around, but
We'll
they tend to do pretty good, yes.
I was gonna say, they usually are pretty competitive and.
If no questions there, we can move on to the quarterly report. As we've now finished the third quarter of our year, I'd like to direct your attention to page 15. So through three quarters, we try to shoot for 75% of our budget. On the revenue side, we're below the 75% mark, we're at 66%. But on the good side, the expenditures, we are below the 75% mark at 63.6%. Like I said, the revenue is going to pick up on the electric and water side here the next quarter because of the three hottest months of the year, close out the year. So that should.
That explains the lag, the
I
difference.
mean, it could, but we'll see. We'll definitely pick up there some this last quarter.
Even though I'm praying for rain.
Right, everybody is.
All right. All right, Clay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Danny's report is on pages 7 through 8. Let y'all look at those. If you have any questions?
My only question, I guess, was the Christmas lights. Are y'all working on the replacements of them? Or not?
In my report, I mentioned that you and Derek and I discussed the Christmas lights, David, and that we discussed the age of the flags, and then we looked at the replacement costs, which they're not cheap. But I think the main thing that Derek was mentioning with Christmas lights was about the lights downtown on top of the building.
Yeah.
And we talked about switching them over to LED several years ago. I don't know where we're at on that, and Derek's not here.
That's kind of where I was, because right here, it'd be kind of nice to have the nicer lights.
Yeah.
You can ask him. Is everybody okay with where we put the tree down, intersection down here?
I like to see something else added to,
Yeah.
because I felt
Yeah,
like it
no,
was a
yeah,
little
exactly, and I don't know,
It'd be nice if there were some other Christmas displays out there.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was
A number
thinking.
of cities have done things like that.
and
Yeah.
I can see that, the city doesn't necessarily have to carry the burden for all that.
Right.
If a certain, I'm just saying, the Lions Club, if they want to put up a little thing and put the Lions Club on it, or Rotary Club, or
Yeah.
different things, St.
Different
Michael's,
businesses.
Weimar ISD, each one could have a little area and decorate it up, that'd be great.
Yeah,
The tree looks kind of lonely.
yeah. It
right
does,
now.
it does.
I like to
think
be able to see it, but
Yeah.
it looks a little lonely.
Yeah.
Yes, we can work on some of those projects. Sounds good, thanks. Michael?
Evening, everybody. All right, so this month's been a pretty busy month, but we're making some progress on quite a few things. At the wastewater treatment plant, we finally got the flow meter, the chart recorder, and the 3 new dissolved oxygen meters installed last week as part of that violation cleanup for that CSEP. Right now, I'm still, again, awaiting a response from TCEQ. They have been rather slow to get back to me on some of these things to know how close we are to finalizing that. Later in the meeting, we also have a action item about possibly getting another aerator replacement at the wastewater treatment plant. And with the quotes that we have, I know for a fact that we will clear that 48,000 and be clear of that CSEP and completely be done with it. I know right now we're getting close, trying to wait and see if TCEQ is gonna approve or deny certain funds, but with that, we'll be clear.
It'd be great.
The guys have just been doing a new electric utility addition on County Road 220. They just completed that last week. I think it was 6 poles, if I'm not mistaken. And then now they're actually working off of Cabot and Oak over by where we have our Cabot lift station. It's basically our highest used lift station. We got a pole that was leaning pretty heavily with 3 transformers on it, so they've been working on getting all that replaced right now. They've also, like I said, our 4 electric guys, they have been our wastewater crew almost exclusively with having the cable on the bucket truck and things like that. That's how we've been pulling a lot of our aerators. And right now, there's so much sludge down in the pond that the actual aerators, when it gets windy, they're stationary because they're, anchored down by all that sludge. But then their lines will move as the current of the water moves, and then it'll get caught up in the impeller, chop them up, and then we're back out there rewiring it, replacing it, things like that. Most of the time, it's just a rewire job, but it still takes, half a day to pull it, take it off, get it rewired and all that, and then put it back in service. So they've been working quite heavily on that. And we do have one more aerator motor that we can send off, and those have been between $1,100 and $1,500 when we have them remanned. That, again, will be added to that CSEP. A small amount, but anything helps. As far as the hydrants that we've been working on, they have been going through flow testing, and we haven't started fully painting them yet, but they're going through and marking them with the appropriate paint color so that we can flow test as many as possible, and then as we get time, we can go back and just paint them, and anybody can do that. Well, right now, I have people working with 2 sets of gauges going out and flow testing. And then also, like David mentioned, we got that Stanley Hydrant Saver tool system. We've already replaced 2 main valves inside of hydrants without replacing the actual hydrants. Hydrants right now are about $5,000 plus half a day or more to pull it, put a replacement in, backfill material, all that. So I mean, with labor and everything else, you can look up to $7,000. The repair kits are about $500. We're now getting them done in an hour, 2 hours. So with the 2 hydrants that we replaced the guts in, we've already paid for that tool system.
That's great.
Like I said, we got the crew trained on all of that now. Han Equipment, as I mentioned, has been out looking at Cabot lift station to possibly get us a new pump, a backup pump with basically a stronger impeller that can chop things up and it won't get ragged up and fail so often. They're currently working on that as well as scope and everything for the 2 booster pumps at Plant 1. Let's see. Also, we just finished we've been repairing the road out the wastewater treatment plant lately. Our vendor, our asphalt vendor, Wharton Asphalt, they had refused to deliver us more asphalt because they had damaged their trailer at some point last time with the big holes. So we've been trying to get that all prepared so that we can get more backfill or cold mix. And then also,
Michael, that's the road behind the transfer station as well as the road coming in off the service road for I-10.
yes, they haven't done the actual service road from the gate to the frontage road yet,
Okay.
but they've done everything inside. So there's still no major holes. Yes, it's definitely a little
Some of them
bumpy.
are like swimming holes.
Yeah, no, they've gotten almost all of that done. There's still a little rockiness, but I could drive through there today at a constant speed and not eat my knees or anything else. So it was a leisure stroll today.
Yesterday evening, I took the Equinox through there from I-10 all the way back around and no problems.
That's great.
So TDS has nothing back there anymore, so the road should stay fairly good. We do have a little more, right now the little concern is if it rains, but Michael's got planned to add some gravel here and there
Yes.
as we need to.
Yes, we had just gotten that kind of ironed out, and that was all with spoil and backfill that we already had, so we didn't pay for anything. That was just basically reuse. But yes, I would like to get a couple of trucks of road base just to put a final top layer on it, nothing too heavy, and then that will compact it and make sure that it doesn't wash out for the future. I mean, a truck can go for $1,400-$1,500, so we can probably get by with less than $5,000 worth of limestone and be done.
Very good.
Eurofins Laboratory, our laboratory in Houston that handles our lead and copper samples, they have received 21 out of the 20 requested for our lead and copper. We did get those delivered before the end of June, so now we're just awaiting the results. But once we get those results and get those filed with TCEQ and get those out to all the customers who sampled, we should be finally back on our 3-year schedule for lead and copper. So finally, we're in compliance for the first time in a couple years on that. And then also, we're awaiting mulch, like the EWF playground, ADA mulch for Hill Park right now. I was supposed to have a delivery this week. I'm anticipating this week or next. I still haven't received the call. But then also on our licensing, as we've taken pretty much everything, water, wastewater in-house and gotten rid of the contractors and outside help, everybody has pretty much been cross-trained, but we're getting quite a few licenses going right now. Current license count, we've got 2 C groundwater, 2 CSI, 1 C wastewater, 2 D water operators, 1 D wastewater operator, and 4 CPOs, certified pool operators. But right now we have 1 D water and 1 CSI waiting to test. We have another one who just submitted his application to TCEQ yesterday for a D wastewater. And then I will be going for my backflow here pretty soon too. I just taken a class 2 weeks ago so that we can better control our cross-connection program. My biggest scare is some of these meters in towns and things like that where you start seeing them rolling backwards a little bit. That starts to become a real concern of what dirty water is coming back into the clean water supply. So we can do in-house the inspections on them, but we couldn't do any of the actual testing or anything, where now we will be able to take care of all of that in-house. So it wouldn't necessarily be something that we would offer out, say, hey, come hire us for $100 and we'll check your backflow kind of thing. It would be more of a as-needed, suspicion-based, I think there's a problem here, I can go up to it and test it and make sure it's working and validate and verify it. And any questions right now? All right, well, I'll see y'all shortly.
All right, thank you.
Chief?
All right, well, thank y'all. Before you have a packet of many things, but we're going to talk about the monthly report first, which is the pie graph. During the month of June, we had 438 calls for service. Out of that, we had 22 offense reports generated and 3 arrests out of the offense reports. Traffic contact, we had 108. That would include disabled vehicles, traffic stops, what have you. But out of the traffic stops, we had 35 written warnings and 61 citations. It's a 30-day reporting period. Calls for service averages 14.6 per day. Calls for service did decrease by 1.057 from last month. Stuff that's going on around the office, we just swore in a new officer this week. Because of scheduling conflicts, he could not be here tonight, but we'll have him at the next city council meeting to meet everyone. We now have a total of 8 sworn officers. Typically, that would be a full staff, but because Jim was an extra for us, getting his TCO certification taken care of, he's now an extra police officer for us. So we still have 1 opening. David and I discussed, we'll probably wait a little bit longer before we fill that one, but we do have one opening, but normally would be full staffed. So we're proud of that. Also on Tuesday of last week, we had a Battle of the Badge Blood Drive, sponsored by Gulf Coast Blood Center out of Houston. This was between the Weimar Fire Department and the Weimar Police Department, and I'm not going to mention who won, but we're going to do our best to try to beat the Weimar Fire Department next year. So, our goal was to get to 11 donations. We had 34 donations, actually, so we tripled what we were looking for. We want to thank the community for showing up and supporting that project. We really appreciate that. We want to thank Misty for giving us there she is, for giving us the parking lot for the library so we could park the bus to get the donations. Hopefully we can do it at the community center, civic center next year, but we will be doing it again next year. So that's really all I have at this point. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Misty?
So council, mayor, patrons of Weimar. The library visits, we had pretty good, pretty similar from last year. We had 1,132 visits at the library, which is great. For our audiobooks and ebooks, we had 31 audiobooks and 49 ebooks used on Libby, so that's the online program that we have. It's doing good. For our July calendar, we are still booked up, just like June. We just had a author presentation with Dolores. We had like 45 patrons show up. That was really nice, and she also got to bring her puppy dog Finn, and the kids loved Finn. He took away the show. We have one discovery and adventure program coming up called Rock Hounds with our chess guy, David McCall. He's going to be doing a program on rocks, volcanoes, and erosion at 2:30 to 3:30 on Friday on the 10th. And then on the 13th, we have another discovery and adventure program with the Texas Snakes and More, which is very popular here because it was by request to bring him back again. And he'll be here at 10:30 on Monday. Weimar Book Club will be meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday. I think it's Stephen King. What's the numbers? 11, everything, and 64. It's a date of the president. Yes, so it's pretty good. I heard the movie is out, so there's a book they're reading right now. See the similarities with that. So they'll be doing that on Monday night. Tuesdays, we've been having a really good turnout for the water aerobics classes. I had like 26 people kind of want to be involved in it, and like 11 to 12 people show up for the class on Tuesdays, so it's a really good turnout. I always get calls almost every day, just somebody wants to try it out in different places too. I heard all the way from Flatonia, Columbus, Schulenburg, different people coming to check out the water class that we got going on. Chess Club is still doing their program at 3:45 to 4:45 on Tuesdays in the evening. Library in Motion is still doing good on Wednesdays at 10. We have a Dino Art on a Wednesday on the 15th. It's open to all ages, painting dinos and rocks from 3 to 5 p.m. Then we have a special guest for Family Story Time on the 16th. We have a special guest, Cynthia Fogelman from the Stanzel Model Art Aircraft Museum. She's going to be there for the Family Story Time at 10 a.m. Another big thing is that we have our summer reading program is coming to the end on the 24th. We need all book journals and everything turned in by that day by 5 o'clock. And then we'll be celebrating our end of the summer reading program, our beach party from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Splash Pad and Big Pavilion. And that's when we're going to be doing the raffle drawings. We'll have crafts, we'll have games, and a sweet surprise. So way to go, readers. Keep on reading. We're almost there. And right with our reading, we have 62,542 pages read. Right now, our kids are in the lead with 37,694. A little bit behind with the adults is 24,848. And my top reader for the kids is up to 5,000 pages, 397. So yeah, they're doing really good reading over there with the summer program. So keep up the good work. On our last sheet with my circulation activity, we have 17,993 holdings in the library, which we're going to have to be in August whenever we get a break from the summer reading program. We're going to start weeding out some more books because we are running out of room. Sad to say, I want to cry. We have right now involved for patrons is 1,845 patrons involved in our library. We also signed up a couple of more people today that are brand new to Weimer, and they signed up at the library, so it's great. And right now, materials out is 576 materials out on loan. And that is all I got. Any questions? All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Very good.
Jim?
All right, code, animal, law enforcement, approximately 20 code calls. I don't really count. A lot of code calls I generate myself, like today, stopping, talking to people. Approximately 20 calls, 7 animal calls. Again, I kind of generated a few of my own. I got calls, caught 2 foxes in a church. That was interesting. Progress on the 100 East Cabot. I'm pleasantly surprised and pleasantly happy about that. I don't know. I'd like some feedback on that. If everybody could go by that house, look at it. The issue with it. You live close to it, I believe. One man doing all the work, and he's doing pretty good. From what it was to what it is now, it looks a lot better. We're waiting on the house that burned over here at 207 North Eagle. We're waiting, they're on the home program, I believe. They're waiting on that. We have some ownership issues going on there. There was no insurance, so it's I'm kind of taking a step back from that and letting them try to figure that out. And then I did speak to the owner at 213 North Mechanic, Helm Camp Lumber. He's going to start cleaning up the back lot, which I did notice he has started that. And then he and I talked about, he's talking about enclosing those buildings and or putting a privacy fence around the property. That's what we discussed. So, did a lot of work on, which you'll hear shortly, about numbers and costs and equipment for speed limit stop sign project. Worked on that pretty heavily. The chief and I went out to the gun range, checked that out, see what kind of improvements we could make to the gun range. I've been continually working on the maintenance of our police vehicles, law enforcement vehicles. And last but not least, I was enrolled in a code enforcement class in Mesquite. All kinds of issues happened. I was there one day. Teak's building there was not functioning. They changed it to online. I didn't have anything to do it online while I was there, so I came home. And I'm signed up for the class again, July 20th through the 24th. So that will take care of that. Any questions? Ara?
Thank you, sir.
Maria, did you want to go over your report on
I
page 15?
included a copy of the monthly report for the courts, and if you notice, June has doubled, a little over doubled. So we're doing a lot of citations, a lot of people
You are.
coming in. A lot of them were taking care of their ticket before I even have them in the system. They get it, the next day they're there. So we're doing good.
Alrighty. Mayor, that's it for the city manager and staff reports.
Very good, thank you, David. We'll move on to item 7 on the agenda, presentations. I don't note any. Has anything been added, David?
No.
Okay. Item 8, consent agenda. All consent items are considered routine and will be acted upon by a single vote. Any council member may request an item be removed from the consent agenda for individual consideration. We have 2 items. 8.1, approval of special city council meeting minutes June 30, 2026. And 8.2, approval of regular council meeting minutes of June 11, 2026. So for your review and action, council.
I kind of updated some of the typos, so.
That's a serious couple.
Yeah, I did. Thanks to David, he proofread my minutes, so.
Thank you, Maria.
So we've got those corrected.
I so move.
Motion Christian,
Second.
second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll move on to new business. 9.1, discussion and consideration and possible action regarding the award of the maintenance contract for the city's water storage tanks. And that's David through Michael, I guess.
Yeah, Michael. Michael, do you need one of these packets?
Fine, I got one.
Okay.
Well, this is gonna be more or less a discussion than anything, because I've only gotten one quote back, and it's from the consultant that's actually doing the work on the, ground storage tank that we awarded at the last special meeting. This is more or less kind of two options, a 3-year and a 5-year plan if we were to wanna go through something like this. But basically, it's a contracted maintenance for all of our water tanks and water towers throughout town, where they would come through and take them down once a year, clean them out. Painting would be included as needed every couple of years. But you can see on, it's the last couple of pages, how it breaks down year to year. And they've got a few different options built into each one. And it kind of has a breakdown of what would be included on a year-to-year basis and what that pricing would look like. So on option 2, he basically split, you know, whatever we have, whether it's the 3-year or the 5-year you have in front of you. He broke down everything that would be anticipated within 5 years to an even amount, or we can go through, like option 1, he's showing, you know, 1 year is just pressure wash, sanitize, bolt and inspection kind of thing. And then a couple years later, we would be doing, you know, stain removal, touch-ups, things like that. But he's just broken it down where it varies year per year based on the amount of work done. This would also come with emergency on-call, basically help. So this contractor in particular, they deal with, I'm sure y'all have seen on the news, social media, and things like that, where water towers blow out. And it's a major problem, and the water tower is spewing all over the place. This consultant was actually the one who repaired the Pflugerville one that just recently was on the news. So that's the kind of emergency work that they do, part of these maintenance contracts. And that's actually, the city of Pflugerville had him under a contract whenever theirs blew. So they were able to respond almost immediately. Again, it's just an option. A lot of these things are things that we need to be, that need done on a regular basis, at least every 3 to 5 years, between taking them down, cleaning them out, painting, sealing, things of that nature. So whether we do it on a job by job, or we do it as a maintenance contract. Again, I will bring a few more quotes and things for the next meeting. As y'all know, I had to kind of pull teeth to get quotes as is on that one particular ground storage tank, but something like this I should be able to get made pretty, you know, quite a bit easier. But again, just like we had discussed with the ground storage tank at Plant 3, again, everything else would be warranted except for that, because as that shifts and things like that, it's got 4,000 to 5,000 bolts in it and gaskets that are 40 years old. So as those things shift, it will start to give away. That's also something that I kind of discussed with this particular contractor. The bolt together tanks are basically the economical function. You know, they're the cheapest route, and it's lasted for 40 years and probably last another 20. But just talking to him, another, say, welded tank for 300 to 500,000, we're looking at about $1 million all in, foundation and all. So it would be.
$1 million figure is very popular.
Yeah, it is. Basically, the way he was saying, anything under $1 million is going to be
close to $1 million, and then once you get past that, you're really gonna start substantially going up. But we wouldn't need, that's a 200,000 or 250. Realistically, for the next 50 years, we wouldn't anticipate anything more than at most a 500,000. 300 to 500,000 would be more than enough. So just thoughts, but as is, the tank that we have out there, we'd be lucky to get another 20, 25 out of it. And as it starts shifting and sagging more and more, those odds are gonna start going down more, so. Like I said, I think it'd be best to just move this to a action item for next month, and I'll come back with a little bit more info, okay? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
We'll move on to 9.2, discussions, consideration, and possible action regarding a performance rebuilding agreement with E3 Integral Solutions Incorporated for wastewater and water system improvements, including nanogas lagoon, sludge reduction technology, clear well rehabilitations, well rehabilitation services, water treatment optimizations, and procurement through buy board using RS Beans pricing. David.
Yeah, let me get this.
Yeah, sorry about that.
See, Clay, look.
That's the people like us, Clay.
Did it turn on?
Yeah, that one turns, yeah.
There we go.
All right, well, I'll start us off. I'm Larry, this is Tim, and we have a quick presentation. It's probably more of an update because we have all the new council members. So really, we'll start off with a process today. Met Michael probably his first week that he started working here. We asked him, hey, what are your biggest issues, problems out here? One was water quality. So we started in on that, and we put in a hydrogen molecule that went into the water. It is still in the cleaning process, but we have seen very good results. So you have been able to reduce chlorine, cut off, actually take off of phosphates, and then your flushing calls, as of last month, had gone down about 98%. So there is a big savings there. Well, the next thing he had mentioned was a well 9 had been given the city issues since 19, and it was offline for the past year. So we came in and we worked on that for about 2 days, and doing a flushing, flushing program with Bicarbus, and was able to get that back up and online. I wish we met you all earlier. We could have saved you from the new well, but 9 is back online. And so, and then we did some work with, I know you guys got a bond or a grant to do the water meters. We did some analysis on what the water and revenue gain from that would be. But the other two big items out here that Michael had mentioned were the piping, and then, of course, the wastewater treatment plant. And so at about that time, y'all had gotten the violations on the wastewater treatment plant, so that's where we decided to work on. So here's some trends on the lagoons. I'm not sure how much everybody knows about it. We did sonar the lagoons. They're pretty full. We'll show you that in a minute. You are, you did get some TCEQ violations, and you do have overflow issues. You want to hit on that real quick?
Yes, something that I mentioned to David just after doing the monthly reports this past month for the wastewater treatment plant. We had pretty sparse rain, but towards the beginning of June, we had a few days that were an inch, and I believe one day that we recorded 1.5 inches. Those doubled our plant to the point that on one of the days that I filled out, our plant has a maximum capacity on our permit of 500,000 gallons. One of those days was up to 498, and there was a couple more in the 490s. It doubled from 180 to 220,000 gallons a day up to almost 500,000 just with the I&I. And that is basically inflow and infiltration leaching in, but it's still flowing wastewater and it's not becoming a leak. But it's a major problem right now, especially when the wastewater treatment plant is so full of sludge as is. Now it's doing something basically called short circuiting, where that water is just flowing in and it's not staying in that treatment plant the intended amount of time to properly disinfect it.
So some of the big challenges with sludge is that since the forever chemicals got out there, or everybody started talking about that, landfill prices have gone up a bunch. We go up about 10% a year. And then, of course, hauling is expensive. That's averaging about 6% a year. But y'all had an old quote in '23, $3.6 million to dredge. And dredging, the challenge with dredging is you're going into the lagoons, you're dredging it, you're hauling it, and you're taking it into a landfill. Michael recently got that quote updated, and it's in between 4.5 and $5 million. So if you look at the you got pond 1, that pond is 9 feet deep. There's 8 feet of sludge in it. Pond 2, 7, almost 8 feet deep. It's about 55% full, and pond 3 is about 63% full. So it is full. And that was a sonar that was done a couple months ago. So at E3, we have a program, Performance Rebuilding. It allows cities, schools, hospitals, counties to get work done upfront, no upfront capital, and you pay for it over time out of savings or increased revenue that the project generates. And the big thing about, the other big thing that people love about it, there's no change orders. So this is a very similar problem than they had up the road at Stockdale. Stockdale had about 11 acres of lagoons. Nobody could recall the last time they had been dredged, so they were full. And the pictures aren't awesome, but on the left, you saw big sludge islands. They had algae problems, and then by the time we were done, the ducks were back swimming on the ponds. You duck hunters, that's where they like to swim. Next page. So this is the results. In the first 90 days, the lagoon went from almost 6 feet to 1 foot. The sludge went from almost 6 foot to 1 foot. So that's the equivalent of 1,000 dump trucks coming, hauling, and taking to the landfill. And then on the bottom, you'll see the other stats and facts and figures that reduced also. So it's nanobubble technology. Basically, the benefit is you're eliminating the hauling and the landfill part of the process. Essentially, what you're doing is you are flooding. What's happened now is these lagoons, they've really just turned into storage sheds because there is no oxygen, and it's just dead. And so what the nanobubbles will do is you're pumping about 1 trillion little teeny tiny bubbles per gallon into the lagoon, and they're so small they don't rise. And you put the microbes in there, and it accelerates the process of eating the sludge. There's a much more technical way to say all that, but that's, anything to add to that? Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good, okay. So the big thing is you're taking your lagoons from passive to active, and you're eliminating, as I said, the dredging part. So what we have planned here for the process to tackle these lagoons is I was telling David and Michael and Clay, we're going to bring in, it looks like from a cartoon, a transformer-like agitator to come in and break up the islands. That's the first move, is to come in and break up the islands. And then what we'll do is we're going to come and bring in a unit, bigger unit and start off with, it's a 150 as they're custom building the units that we're gonna install in there. And so, we believe, it's very conservative, we believe. We'll be able to drop the sludge 2 feet in 3 months, and then after a year, we believe that we'll be able to get rid of 85% of the organic sludge. We'll eliminate that. But the best part about it is because the units are going to be installed in there, future sludge will be taken care of. The part about dredging, the other part about dredging people don't like is it eventually just fills back up, and you got to do it again. And then as part of installing the equipment out there, we packaged in all the license and 10 years of all inclusive maintenance. So when a part breaks, it's on us. All that good stuff.
So just to put things in perspective, that same unit at Stockdale knocked down 5 foot of sludge in 3 months, but their lagoon's twice y'all's size. So the 2 foot in 3 months is a really conservative projection.
So really, why nano bubbles? Because you're eliminating a couple steps in the process, you're looking at $5 million versus, just round up to 900 as far as the nano bubbles. Plus, you're eliminating, you're going to be sending about 4,000 yards every year to the lagoon. So you're eliminating that too. And so, so it's not a one-time event. It's going to keep all the sludge out of there. The other things you can do is, if you dredge, you either have to pay cash, which is tough at $5 million, or you got to go pass a bond or a certificate of obligation, where the bubbles, because it's equipment, you can do it tax exempt lease. So that makes it more flexible. The other thing that we were going to do, so this is well 9. This is your well. It's well 9, and so it was offline for a year. And so what we did is we surged it with that hydrogen molecule, and what that hydrogen molecule is doing is it's cutting off the communication of microbes, so it cannot build a fort into the scale. So really, it's descaling that entire well. So that's about about a 5-hour difference. Yeah, that's about a 5-hour process. When we started it, that's what it looked like on the left, and then 5 hours later, that's what it looked like. So we're also proposing. So we've done 2 of your wells now already, and so we're proposing to do the other 3 wells. And the benefit of bicarbonate versus traditional well cleaning is traditional well cleaning, you're taking things apart, you're scrubbing it, it's harsh, there's toxic chemicals. Here, you're not taking it apart, there's very little downtime, and you're doing all 3 for probably less than you would do one the old-fashioned way. So really, I'm calling it phase 2 because I'm calling the bicarbonates the phase 1. So the phase 2 would be the nanobubble solution, package it with the 10-year warranty. The well cleaning you just saw in the 3 wells, and then the bicarbonates is what you're currently putting into the water now to clean up. So we're going to package all that. And I know on the agenda there was clear about, but we had pulled that and the rig stuff. We were asked to. So we've been over this. Michael and I and Tim worked on this, and we did show it to David and to Clay. So we believe that the savings is going to be about $480,000 a year. Now, some of that is cost avoidance for example, if you were to dredge, you know, you just have to do it a little bit every year, because it's hard to come up with 5 million today. So there is pretty significant savings from this program. So what we have here is, for that scope you just saw, the cash price is $998,000, or $999, rounded up. And what you would, what we would propose is, you know, not paying that upfront, but you pay that, you either do a lease or you do a certificate of obligation. You know, we have to, y'all would have to pick a funding vehicle. And so your payment, your annual payment, because you wouldn't pay it all upfront, is going to be about $96,000. And what I did was I took the cash price. I don't have, and I used about 4.92% for interest over 15 years. And so it you know, over a 15-year period, you know, it would create a positive cash flow. And this was originally intended because Michael's #1 priority was the piping. So that was going to be some money, the positive cash flow that could be invested into some piping, and then David had mentioned electric meters too. So anyway, so that's the so that's where that came from. Any questions on this one? This one? So, you know, I talked about this before. This is an old slide. A lot of times, about 99% of the times, we procure our projects either through a buy board or TIPS using a job board contracting. And so we have to qualify for that with buy board or TIPS. And basically, how you know you're getting a good price is, I know you guys aren't familiar with RS means, but RS means is like the guidebook for construction costs. So they look at this area and they establish pricing guidelines, and our pricing has to be at or below RS means. Now, it really doesn't make much difference here because we're using superior technology, and you see what dredging costs, right, versus ours. So we're already blowing all that away because we're using better technology than the traditional methods. And so I already explained that. That's the RS means. And so an action plan would be is, you know, when you're ready, vote to move forward with the project. You would select a funding vehicle. You could talk to your FA. David had mentioned that. Start a project, you finish a project, and the first payment would go, you could put into the next budget cycle. And then, of course, it's ongoing assistance because you got the 10-year warranty, and hopefully they'll ask us to hang around and we can look at some of these other jobs. That's it.
So how long have we been injecting the bicarbonate then?
That was, I believe, February or March. And in the last month, I can't remember if we have a very large one. It's been at least 4 to 6 weeks.
You know, just my thoughts, not saying it's not working, it definitely is. I'm more wondering, is it because we're actually on a flushing program now and it's getting all the stuff out to where, you know, we never had that flushing, we never had a plan to where we actually flushed like we do now, and that could have been our problem the whole entire time.
Actually, we're flushing less now that we've been introducing the bicarbonate, which again goes towards our water loss and our savings as far as sending laborers out there to do that and things like that. We're still doing weekly and all of that, but it's on a much smaller scale. We're not having to flush for near as long. And even on weeks that we have a bunch of emergencies going on where I've got crews and different water leaks, sewer leaks and things like that where it gets pushed off until the end of the week or something like that. Normally, we would have a bunch of calls before bicarbonate, and now it's nothing.
Yeah. I just feel like having the system we're in now, it's got to help compared to what we did, because before it was lucky to be flushed like it was supposed to be. And, 'cause, I mean, we never had documentation on it, how much we flowed, we had nothing. So that's definitely my thoughts on that.
I submitted the water loss report in May for the Texas Water Development Board, and that's something that's required of us every 5 years, or if we have funding through them every year. And I've never submitted a water loss report with that much water loss.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the flushing that we were doing beforehand, which is essentially the same but more than what we're doing now, we also had that line down at the golf course going into that pond on the south side. That was flowing at 30 to 40,000 gallons a day when I first got here. So if that wasn't flushing out the system, then, I mean, that should have pretty much taken care of most of our flushing on the east side of town, and it did not.
Yeah, well, I just recall 2 years ago when I first got on, I asked, do we actually put flow meters on there to see how much we're flowing and everything, and they could not answer that. So they were not, you never knew how much they were actually giving out. The county gets water from over there by the hospital. Nobody knows how much water's getting flowed, so I don't think that, those numbers were never accurate. So that's just my thought.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
It's $1.1 million that you're asking.
Yeah.
What does that represent?
Okay, so
What
we did
what are
pull
we
the.
getting for that?
Okay. So you want to talk about it?
And how's
So-
it broken down, you know, when I buy something for my house, I'll eventually look down to the bottom
Okay.
right-hand corner, and it says $1.1 million.
Okay.
And too often they send that to me, because, you know, I work in Weimar, so I'm wealthy. But they send that to me, and it just says $1.1 million. And I go back to them and I say, well, I want it itemized from the top all the way down to the bottom so that I can expand that across to the right-hand column and know exactly what is represented in that $1.1 million.
Yes, sir.
So where are we on that?
Okay, great question. So we were asked to pull the well, the clear well, and asked to pull the rate study. So we're a little bit below that right now. Okay, so the nano bubbles itself, that scope I described, and the warranty is packaged in there, and that's at 800,000, 894,911. Okay, and then the 3 wells you saw, the cleaning of those 3 wells is at $43,000 for all 3. Okay, and so go back to the go back to the financial page right here. So the cash price of that scope is $998,000, $999,000 rounded up, and so that is the nano bubbles process that you saw, the equipment, the all-inclusive maintenance, the 3 well cleanings, and then 2 years of bicarbonate for the water distribution.
Okay. Well, for example, how much of that $1.1 million is represented by that machinery?
Okay, so we pulled out the well, so it's not 1.1, it's $999,000. Okay, go back, Tim, to the nano bubbles. So the nano bubbles is $894,000, or just $895,000.
Right, but what he's asking
What-
is, and we're required to do this, and as you know, Byboard requires it, which I've looked at the Byboard contract, and I don't want to get off the rails on this, but that Byboard contract that is set hourly rates to do energy efficiency. This is not a Byboard, you don't have a Byboard thing for nanobubble machines. And what the mayor's asking is, take that $900,000, what does the equipment cost? We haven't seen the warranty, so what's the warranty cost? But more importantly, this is like when we do road work, this is how much today I've heard for the first time that we're gonna rent an agitator. How much is the agitator gonna cost to rent? What is the labor gonna cost for the installation? That's what he is asking
Basically,
about, and that's what
itemization.
I've been asking about, right? I mean, in other words, it's just like when you go to build a house, though. You build a house, right, and they tell you, here's the framing, here's the foundation, here's the electrical rough in, here's the wiring,
Right.
and all of that. And
Sure.
we don't have that, sir, and so that's, like I said, I don't wanna get off the rails.
Right.
we have exchanged emails, you've been on some of them, I have a myriad of concerns about this contract.
Okay. So what we're, and I can get you a breakdown, but what we're,
Well, before you go there, I guess I'm just concerned, because I would say I'm enamored of the technology. It sounds amazing if it works. It appears it might work. But, you know, I would like to have known this for tonight so that we could look at this, because I know it's been requested multiple times.
well, I did start tonight, said, hey, we're probably, it's just an update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but it's an update, but it's an
Well, it
action
was an
item
action,
on this agenda.
right.
So
Well,
it's
well,
more than an update.
Yeah.
If we're being asked to spend 900,000,
Sure.
I was mistakenly saying 1.1 million, it's 900,000 plus.
Okay.
But it's an action item here with just, I guess, us trusting that that $900,000 is everything that you're presenting to us. And I hope it is, because it would be incredible. You can't argue 900,000 versus 5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. But,
So
I
Tim-
apologize, can we go back to the slide that showed the Stockdale results? I want to see how much, the area right there, okay, so it reduced in 90 days, it reduced, well, how much of the sludge percentage-wise?
it went from 5.5 feet to 1.
Okay. Can't we just rent this? Can you give us a bid to rent us this for 90 days? Because look at what we'll do in 90 days. Can we do that? Can y'all rent it to us for 90 days? Just bring the equipment, come nano bubble it for 90 days, we'll get this result, and then we'll be done. And then we'll, you know, in 5 years, we'll call you back. Or at least give us a bid for that. Because it looks like in 90 days, it does most of the work.
Well,
I mean, if that's accurate, that's spectacular, and we'd love to see a price to get 94% reduction in suspended solids in 90 days and go from 6 feet to 1 foot of sludge in 90 days. I think that would be an option maybe that we'd like to look at.
and of course, I understand that, you know, what you're also saying, that, you know, this is, prevents a recurring cost for the, all the rest of it. So I get all
yeah,
that.
because right now he's trying to buy the equipment to stay out there.
Right, right. So, and, you know, Stockdale and these other places, like there was a list about 10 or less. How long have they been on have they been on this program? A year, 2 years? I mean, do we have an overtime study? Or if we just have a study over months?
Well, I mean, so they essentially rented the equipment and it left. So it would be, and it's gonna refill. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna, so no, so it would be.
But from what
months.
my research, Stockdale was back in September of last year, or thereof, right? Is that when y'all did it?
Something like that,
Something like
yeah.
that. So that was my biggest thing, so it's only September, we don't even have a year's worth of, like, data, thank you.
Right,
To do it,
but
why you're asking for a 10
Yeah, so
year.
the challenge would be, this half the room's impressed that it got done in 90 days, and but you're looking for a year's, but it knocked it down to 1 foot.
But, well, the reason I'm asking that is because you're asking for like a 10-year plan or 15, you know what I mean? It's like we're asking for this thing, so like,
Asking
why
for
are
a
we?
10-year commitment?
Yeah, so why are we gonna do a 10-year commitment when we only need you for 90 days, I guess? Is it like, you know,
Well,
like boats and
because,
whatever?
so the original strategy that we had thought about was that you do want a long-term solution, because the sludge is coming back. It's you're gonna be adding 4,000 yards, a year. But if you don't want that, that's fine. I mean, I can pull that part of it out, no problem. But one of the reasons why I did it is because now Stockdale wants the equipment to install equipment to prevent that again.
And I guess for me too is, you've been here a couple times, like you mentioned, and, back in February, March, and one of the meetings that, attended, you actually stated that you were gonna help us out with the grants as well. where's that process at? Or, you know, like, have you found a grant for us regarding this? Or, you know, if you have, like, when is that gonna be funded?
I
Can
mean, it's very hard to find grants to empty out sludge.
Okay.
So I've gone at the direction of Public Works. They pointed us into where to go.
Okay.
Michael, I have a question for you. I mean, there's no question if this works that it's incredible. That's a given. But are we in some, were you suggesting earlier that we're in some kind of emergency situation that if we don't act, then those lagoons are going to overflow, or I guess, are we in a situation where we must act, or can we, you know, wait?
Yes.
Or do something like Christina said, let's get this thing in here and run it for a month. I think Bo even said that, try it, see what happens. I'm just, I guess the bottom line, is there an emergency?
Yes.
Tell me,
As I mentioned
speak up,
earlier- Yes,
speak,
as I
tell that
mentioned
again.
earlier, our plant on average is running between 180 to 220,000 gallons a day. But it's rated, our TDPES permit is rated at 500,000 gallons.
Right.
An inch of rain is putting us on that threshold.
And that's what just
With our
happened.
history of violations with TCEQ regarding this wastewater treatment plant, they're not gonna look favorably on us as we keep repeating these violations for
Right.
similar and the same things. If it keeps coming up and keeps coming up and keeps coming up, and they see that we have not done anything as far as desludging that lagoon at all since 1998,
Right.
it's looking bad on all of us where we could have done something, we didn't, so let's charge them more. That's their problem.
So that was the last time it was done, 1998?
1998.
Can we, so he had mentioned agitating the sludge to knock it up so that the nanobubble aeration works better. Can we similarly bring an agitator in and agitate the sludge so that the existing aerators work better?
We can, but it would be at a risk of our total suspended solids. That is the main thing. What he's doing is going in there, agitating it, and then using microorganisms to basically eat out all the organics. None of that would be eaten out if we're just stirring it up. If we're stirring it up, now it goes from the bottom to the top, now it's running off into the creek, running off into the river, and now we are in violation for breaking permit on suspended solids and wastewater in the creek.
But don't the aerators we have, by the definition of the term aerator, they introduce oxygen into the water by spraying. They take the water with the sludge, they spray it, it gets oxygen in it, and then it drops back in, right?
Correct.
So we'll be also introducing, I granted it's not a nanobubble, but I mean, it sounds like there might be things we can do right now to try to better aerate the sludge.
The main thing is where our aerators are at now, the only area of sludge that is not as deep as the rest of the lagoon is right directly up under those aerators. They're not moving, it's not making a big wide berth, you know, it's 6 foot wide float and it's making a 6 to 8 foot wide hole in that sludge right there. But it's not moving that sludge, it's not circulating it, it's all sitting at the very bottom as sediment and waterlogged.
Right, and how,
None of
okay,
that
so
air
how are
is
you,
going down.
how are you going to introduce nanobubbles to this sludge that he says can't be moved?
Yeah, so the agitator,
He just said the agitator isn't gonna work, he said it all sits there.
No, what
The-
he was talking about is for islands. Those are small isolated areas
Right.
where we can put something in a small isolated area. We only have one small island about the size of an aerator, and it's right where our influent comes into, where everything comes into the plant. It's where we had a big rain event, it washed some of it up, and now it's sitting on top of that plant.
so the reason why the nanogas technology is, so effective is because the aerators, when they produce the air bubbles, they float. So everything below it doesn't get air. So over time, over the years, it's an aeration, right? So it's lost the ability to be aerobic. Now it's anaerobic. The bacteria that eats the sludge can't survive. So you have 9 foot of space. So 8 feet down, the first pond is like that much difference between the top of the water and the sludge. So what the nanobubbles do is you strategically put them down deep, or in the column of water, so your entire 9 foot is saturated with oxygen. You add the enzymes in, it just knocks it all out. That's why you're able to get 5 feet, 6 feet in 3 months. Right now, it's the buoyancy of the air. I mean, you have 9 foot of space, and only about a foot or 2 is effective. And then you have all this accumulation of sludge that's just stripped all the oxygen out of it. I mean, it's just like a fish tank that has no air. The fish die.
How
So
many different spots in the lagoon do you introduce the nanobubbles?
So it'll be, that's part of the design, once we get, first off, we'll hit with the NG, right? And that'll flow through, and then we'll be monitoring it with sonar and stuff like that to figure out where we need to put the diffusers, because you have a dynamic flow, right?
And how many diffusers?
That will be, I get what you're saying about the actual scope, but that would be determined, through, it's not like hey, plug it in and let it go, right? This is a process. That's what the warranty and the service agreement is, to monitor the DO, the TSS, and figure out, hey, is what we're doing pretty good, or do we need to move the machine over here? I mean, it's not a one-time set it up and.
But for 900,000, how many diffusers are we getting?
Well, so it's two different methods. You're used to bid and spec, right? What we're saying is, in 1 year, we're gonna reduce 85% of the organic sludge out of your lagoons. And so not every account needs an agitator or this or a certain piece of equipment. So that's what we're proposing to you, is in 1 year, you're gonna be down 85% of you're wanting a nuts and bolts and screws, and how many do I get? But our argument would be is just buying bid and spec or spec work, it doesn't always get you the result. Y'all want the result.
Then give us a firm bid to reduce our sludge by 90% in a year.
How about 85?
85?
Okay. Okay.
I mean, those are some things we've been asking for in emails, which is objective metrics and an objective bid. So this council, if you say, hey, we come in here, we're going to guarantee reduce the sludge by 85% in 1 year, and here's what that's gonna cost, then we can look at that, and then, we'll have a contract, and of course, it'll, if in a year it's not 85%, then obviously there's gonna be something in the contract. It's just like if the road guy doesn't finish the road in time, or something like that. But, like I said, there's a lot of things missing. Well, I have never seen the warranty documents on the equipment.
But, I mean, the approach you're talking about is a much larger machine, and that's why we're talking about the NG30 is basically, let's say, a fifth the size of the NG150, but you've got it for 10 years.
What did you use for this?
It's the NG150 up front, and then maintenance.
Then this metrics you're telling us about that's meaningless, because that's not the equipment that you're trying to sell us for $1 million. You just said the equipment you used to get those results was 5 times bigger.
No,
Right.
no. The equipment we're leaving for the 10 years is smaller. We're bringing the big unit, like I said, and then we're leaving the small units for the 10 years.
This is the first I've heard of that too. Again, because the contract quote has been so opaque that none of this information has been available. And I apologize, because I really didn't want this to go off the rails tonight. And I think what we need to do is let's get more details on what your bid entails. And I'll leave it to council. I'm not on council, I'm just a lawyer. But I think council would like to see, how much does it cost just to get that for 1 year?
90 days.
90 days.
Yeah.
I like what you said about 90 days, come back 5 years. I mean, if we haven't dredged it in 26 years, 28 years, then maybe in 10 years we'll need to come back.
And could we just start with one, do the first one, if it works great, then move to the next one after the next 90 days? So you can't do probably all 3 at one time.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah, so you do the first one, do 90 days for this price. Then once we get the numbers we like and everything looks good, then okay, let's move to the second and the third, because you're gonna have to do one at a time anyways.
Sure.
You guys opposed to doing that?
No. So far, it's been mostly Michael and I and Tim developing the scope, but no, I'm fine. Custom build it any way you want, that's great.
We would like to see this result in 90 days.
Sure.
With what it costs, and in 90 days, if it does that at an agreed-to cost, everybody's happy. And we can move on from there.
Say you were to do it for the 90 days, then we said stop. What would happen? How long would it take for it to go back?
Well, we haven't dredged in 28 years.
Yeah, 20.
How long would that take?
So you're adding about 4,000 yards a year of sludge. And then, I mean, yes, so, and then it also depends on I&I and stuff like that, so.
So right now, we're sitting at, I believe, 41,000 cubic yards at, say, 4,000 a year. So within 10 years, it's back.
The diminishing returns
And
are
so like
crazy
right
after
now,
90
in the
days.
20th and 30th year after that improvement has been done, now all of that should be sitting there for 21 days and going through proper disinfection and everything like that, now it's washing out over the top because all that water, it's not passing into that sludge and going into the pond. That's what's making those numbers look so much higher when we get a little bit of rain, because it just flows right over the top, skims over the top like a rock.
Just like saturated ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as we're doing that, more and more of the suspended solids is being put off into the creek. Right now, we're within permit, we're within all of our parameters through the laboratories and everything, but we're scraping by. And that apparently is what's been going on with previous operators as well, just looking back on the history and some of the information that I've been able to find over the last couple of years. It's been a complete uphill battle over there. And as you see, every time I come up here to council, I mention that we've replaced 1 aerator, 2 aerators, 3
Right.
aerators.
That's true.
Because it has been a nonstop battle, and if we do not get out there and handle those as soon as possible, we'll be right back into violation.
Well, let's get those numbers, we can call a special meeting next week and get it going.
I just know we haven't dredged since 19, but I guarantee you, we probably should have been, and we wouldn't be in this situation.
You're talking about 30 years of deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the approach with the NG30, is you clean it out, you get it to a point, and then you just maintain it over time.
Yeah.
When you have all that sludge removed, then you have less demand for your oxygen, and so it holds through, right? It just stays clean, you know, that was the approach that we had.
What's the life on the liner, What's the life on that?
What's the life of clay or
Yeah, it's fine.
clay? I mean,
Oh, it's clay?
as long as it stays, you know, without roots and stuff.
Something about they were gonna put a plastic liner in that one when we were trying to get
That's what
bids
I
that
thought.
time? I could've sworn that's what they were saying.
On pound 4.
Oh, correct.
That's what I thought too, like a rubber or plastic.
Yeah.
But Doug, we're not really trying to throw a wrench into what you're proposing, because what you're proposing is amazing as a result, if we can get there. I think what I would like to see is, you know, numbers to get this result in a month, and we'd start, in my mind, the council decides, that we'd start with that one, that we only have a foot at the top, start with the worst one.
Yeah.
That ought to be a great exemplar of what can be done. And then if that works, we move to the next worst one, then the next word. And then once we're at that point, maybe we could talk about, you know,
The machine.
some kind of commitment over years to maintain it.
Mayor, I mean, you still have to bid it, but you
Yes.
bid it as, give us bids to lower our sludge by
Yes.
85% in 90 days. And
Yes.
see who all bids, but this is not a buy board thing, it's not a police car.
Right.
This
So-
is like a public works, like, you
So
know,
can we
repaving
get
a road.
some bids, and like Kyle said, we'll have a special meeting, just, I mean, if we can get these things, how quickly y'all can get something put together?
I will look at contracts and bids as quick as they come in. I don't, you know, David would know this more than me, the specifics. I don't think we can do a bid with, like, give us a bid in 4 days. I mean, I think it's gotta be a little bit longer than
well,
that.
Is this a proprietary, product, or?
Yeah, I mean, so you have one bid and it's $5 million. I mean, that's.
No, but not to reduce the waste, but to reduce it using nano bubbles, if we specify it like that.
The machine is proprietary.
Nanobubbles are nanobubbles. I mean, it's just like water. It's how you define a small bubble. I don't have any idea if there are other companies that do it. There may be, I don't know.
You would probably know.
What?
Do you have any competitors?
Not after the nano bubbles.
They did, when I was doing the research, they did do some in like North Carolina, California, and that's other states like that, but I haven't seen anything else here in Texas.
This is an oil and gas technology.
Yeah.
They use it to separate the oil and the water.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I guess
but
basically,
if
you
the
put it
bid
out
is
to
to
bid,
remove the sludge,
only
we
one
don't
bid
really
would be
care how they
possible.
remove it. We just want
Sure,
it gone.
so you're gonna get their bid at X dollars, and you're gonna get the dredging at 5 million, so
Well,
you'll
but-
know, then you can pick them,
Well,
right?
right, then if it is what it is, we don't know, someone might come in and say, I'll dredge that pond for, $150 grand, I don't know,
Right,
I'm
I
in the
understand what you're
dredging
saying.
business, and,
I understand, that's fine.
With this and MagnaFlow's $5 million bid, I have two, and I'm working on getting two more I should have within the next week or so.
So then,
I mean,
Michael,
they
we
just
could
need to
come
be
back,
apples to apples bids, that's all,
Yeah.
too.
and we could come back and look at all of it, right, Michael?
Yes.
Makes sense.
I agree.
So
You
y'all,
guys okay with that?
so y'all write the request for quotes and publish it?
Yeah,
So we're
I'll
all,
work with Michael and get
so
that.
we all have the same target goal? I mean, this is Stockdale, y'all, their ponds are different than y'all, so I guess y'all come up with the objectives, the duration of time, and then we'll respond to that. The
We
me-
need to make sure
I mean,
we're
I
comparing
assume we can
apples
make,
to apples.
is there any reason we can't use that as our objective? 85% in 90 days?
Sound
I
cool.
mean, if you've been to our ponds, or Michael, if that's not an achievable, in other words, if no company can do that, then that's not a realistic RFP for us to put out.
Correct.
But.
Can we revisit the buy board and the job order contract? Because it,
Yeah, I mean,
You can't
I'm happy to visit with you about it. I don't think you're gonna change my mind on it, but I'm happy to visit with you about it.
because if you dredge it, you gotta let it dry, so, I mean, they won't be able to do anything in 90 days.
Then they won't bid.
So, okay, so if we only have one bid,
Then we can give it to you, but if anyone else will have had the opportunity.
I mean, I think that's the point. They've had the opportunity. If nobody can meet the bid expectation, there we are.
yeah, great.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to 9.3, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchase of additional aerators assembly for the city's wastewater treatment plant. David through Michael.
Yeah, Michael, you might just,
Wait, Mayor,
Well,
don't you have
yeah,
to call for
'cause it's,
action on the last one?
Oh, do I?
I think, we're not gonna take any action, but I think you
Okay,
have to.
we can do that.
Just let it die.
Let's move up to 9.2 then. I'll ask for a motion on 9.2. Second time, I'll ask for a motion on 9.2. And a final request for action on 9.2. Okay. No motion was made. We'll move on to 9.3. Thank you, Bo.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mayor.
If that's the worst thing that happens to me, I'm in good shape. All right, so 9.3, I've read that, so we'll go from there. David, I guess Michael's presenting.
yes, Michael's gonna present this.
Michael?
So as we sit right now, our Lagoon 1 and Lagoon 2 are the ones that have aerators in them, and they've always been the intention of having 3 per lagoon. Right now, we have 3 on the initial pond, that's where everything comes in, and then as it goes to 2 and 3, it's a little bit more polished, less sludge in it. But right now, we are pretty much running 4 out of 5, and then keeping the 5th as a backup. So if one goes down, at least on pond 1, we have a backup. If one goes down on pond 2, we have to get it up and running ASAP. Or like right now in these hottest months where the microorganisms are at their busiest, they're constantly moving, eating things. That's when they require more oxygen than any other time. So right now, if it gets a little bit to the point where we're flirting with that 7.0 dissolved oxygen line, this would be a massive improvement to help us maintain. Every plant that I've ever been to always has a little bit extra allotted, you know, to basically extra air or something, an extra blower available if one went down, or worst case scenario, you need to run more than what was traditionally required. But also, one of my predecessors, one of the Jameses, had ordered a control panel, one of them, had ordered a complete control panel for this. So we have a whole control panel completely built with everything inside needed for it, but we just don't have the actual aerator. And as we sit right now, we have 5, 2 are an older style, 3 are a newer style. So they look compatible, but they're not. So we can't, you know, if the impeller goes out or the float goes out on one, we can't just take the motor and impeller and move it over to another one. So I would like to start getting some of these newer aerators that we can make universal and replace some of these olders as they eventually die. I have a few quotes. I'm sorry, we had the one quote on this. And we also had what was the letter, David? Means of.
Yes, there's a letter somewhere.
But as is, we are in definite need of extra oxygen at the plant. So this would be a highly requested item. Any questions from me? Thank y'all.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, council, this is an action item, 9.3.
And so you'd need 3 of them then, is that right?
Just one.
No, there's one, Mike.
Okay,
This would make 6 total.
got you.
I move to approve the purchase of the additional aerator assembly for the city's wastewater treatment plant from vendor Combline.
Motion, I'm sorry.
In the amount of $15,650.89.
Plus freight, that's an FOB price, so we're gonna have to pay.
Plus
shipping.
the freight, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary purchasing documents on behalf of the city.
Good. Motion, Roberts.
Second.
Second, Langoff. Any further discussion? Any other questions for Michael? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll move to 9.4. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchase of an additional load of utility poles for the city's electric utility inventory. Guess David and then Michael. Michael, you're busy today.
Can y'all just give me a plaque?
I was about to say.
Put my name up here, it's my
Big stool
permanent
and-
spot.
Will you a chair up here?
Yeah. So this one's pretty standard. Our general load of poles is anywhere from 15 to 20,000 that we normally order. Right now, we've had quite a few new jobs as well as plenty of replacements going on, and we're getting rather short on supplies, so we just flat out need another truckload. Any questions?
And many of the poles that we use, I say many, or a lot of them, are paid, we get reimbursed for them
Yes.
as the jobs.
Yes.
There's a couple that we own in some emergency situation, or they've rotted, and
Yes.
those are ours, that's on us. But a lot of the poles that come out of inventory are sold, basically.
At least half, yes.
At a percentage of
Yes.
upcharge.
Where do we store these at?
So behind the sewer ponds.
Gotcha. So just on the
There's
ground, I
racks.
guess?
No, there's racks.
Oh, there's racks, okay.
Yes.
This is an action item, council.
I move to approve the purchase of additional load of utility poles for the city electric utility inventory from Techline Inc. In the amount of $15,718.30, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary purchasing documents on the behalf of the city.
Motion, Behrens.
Second.
Second, Christian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll move to 9.5, discussion and consideration and possible action regarding declaring the contents of the city's barn and storage containers located at well number 11 site as surplus property. David?
Mayor, council, when we purchased that piece of land, one of the conditions was that he would have 90 days to get the materials out from the barn, and then those storage containers there. Someone did come and take some of the stuff out of it, but they left a lot of it. The things that are there are, it's molding, No, I mean, there's still a lot of good stuff in there, like crown molding, and I know molding, I don't know how many dollars a foot, well, you probably could tell me, you probably come take a visit, you'd be shocked how much
donations.
money's over there. But I think we need to declare surplus, that way we can put it out for bids, and put it in an auction or something. But, yeah. That's it.
This is an action item.
I move to declare the contents of the city's barn and storage containers as surplus property and authorize staff to dispose of the items in accordance with applicable state law and city policy.
Motion Langhoff,
I second.
second Behrens. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. 9.6, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the construction of a median at the Weimar Junior High School bus lane. The school district has decided to address this issue in another format, so there'll be no action on this. Do we need to still call for the motion vote?
Yeah, it's on the agenda, I think so.
Okay. So 9.6, I've read it out to you, calling for a motion on 9.6. Second call for a motion for 9.6. Third call for a motion for 9.6. No motion made, it fails. We'll move to 9.7. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the monthly contribution amount to the Texas Emergency Services Retirement System for each volunteer firefighter. David?
Mayor, council, currently we pay $51 a month per member. The annual cost that we are today is $21,600. I looked at a few other cities, and if we move it up to $60, from 51 to 60, it would cost $25,200 per year, a difference of right at $3,600. So I think that would be something for $3,600 extra per year. For the firemen, I think they would appreciate that. Is that,
Yeah.
they would appreciate
Yeah, I
that?
think it'd be greatly appreciated. I will say we're behind compared to all the other cities, even in the county.
That would help us catch
Yeah,
us up.
definitely, because really we don't get anything out of it besides retirement. No funds for gas and anything else in time.
Right.
What's the average?
I feel like Columbus is up to 100 a month.
Really?
Eagle Lakes, I think, is 110 to 115. Schulenburg's way more than that.
So with this, we would just be increasing the retirement stuff? for
That's
the
correct.
retirement? Volunteer fire.
Well, it's definitely
It's a lot cheaper
volunteer.
than them to pay for them.
Yeah. 'Cause
So is it,
they provide a lot themselves.
When would this be effective?
And you budget?
Yeah, the new budget, I guess whenever, I don't know when that, can you change it anytime, or does it have like an open enrollment
They
type thing?
normally do it right before the budget is, you know, they
Sure
did
they
it
have
last
like a
year around
window.
this time,
Yeah,
Right
our
at
next
that.
meeting will be in August.
so I can find out.
So if the adjustment was made, then we would acknowledge that
Acknowledge it,
at that meeting, and it would become official then.
I'm just wondering if we need to get closer to some of these neighboring towns, if we're that far behind, but
Yeah, I didn't realize it
I
was
mean-
that much off.
And
Yeah. There was one that we found was 119, I think it's Schulenburg.
Schulenburg, and then, I mean, it's
I mean, I'm not saying we have to be,
51 right
51
now.
currently, you want to raise it to 60.
And it was like, to me, it seemed like a miracle to get it up to 51.
It was, and everybody else is still, it seems like every year we're just behind. is what
Would
it
it
is.
be a budget buster, David, to go to 100 so that we're more in line with the surrounding areas?
I wouldn't think it would make that much difference, no.
So y'all getting 51?
I'll get
Everybody else getting
retirement.
like 100 or something?
Oh,
So, David, what are we at, what did you say on the year?
33,000.
So right now, we're at 51, 21.6. So I would assume you double it, would just double it to 40,
Basically.
42.
Yeah, 42. Well, that's up to the council.
yeah, I just think we're just behind, but
If you went to 100, 102, whatever you want, whatever council would suggest,
Pick a number, Becky.
just make a even 100.
100? Goodness, yeah. Better than some, not as good as others.
Well, at least we're up
Greatly
in
appreciate it.
I
line.
think we doubled.
It would be too an incentive to get some, I know some of you are probably aging out and to get the new people in.
Yeah.
Correct.
We certainly don't want our volunteers to feel unappreciated, because
Yeah.
they're amazing. They're amazing, so.
And when is this effective date now?
Probably September, right? You're saying
September?
Or August when
October.
they approve.
August,
August,
we would act on it as a board in August.
in August, okay.
So this is not an action item today?
It is an
Yes,
action
it is for the
item.
council.
You guys would have to decide what you want to do, and then the board, the fire department, we would act on that in the next meeting in August.
Okay.
So it is an action item for whatever the council would like.
Well, I move that we approve the city's monthly contribution to the Texas Emergency Services Retirement System, TESRS, in the amount of $100 per eligible volunteer fire department, effective, is it August?
I would just, yeah, August
August.
26th.
August
Then I'll
26th.
put a date in
August
there.
2026.
We have a motion from Roberts.
I second.
We have a second from Behrens. All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any opposition or abstentions?
I'm abstaining.
Have one abstention from Christian, so 4 yeas, 1 abstention, it passes. So we'll move on to 9.8.
Thank you all, it's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for
We appreciate it.
representing the fire department.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding updates on the city's personnel manual. David and Danny.
Mayor, council, it's on pages 48 to 140. We did email this out to you. If anybody had any questions, we kind of highlighted and struck through.
I had one question,
Uh-huh.
and I've asked it before, and I just wanted to know exactly where we ended up, clarifying what we do in terms of retirement for city employees and when they are actually eligible. Because that information has been vague.
20 years.
And then when can they, is it, you have to work all the way through December, the last day of December? If you,
That's not how TMRS works. That's not how TMRS works.
Maybe come up, Danny, so we can all hear.
yeah.
The only thing I ever dealt with was that crazy longevity pay stuff. that
Well,
we had an
that's
issue
part
about.
of it, is the longevity situation.
So TMRS is who handles our retirement. That is not, that has nothing to
Well,
do
do
with
we
the
have
personnel
anything
manual.
about longevity pay in our?
Yes,
manual?
it is. If you- longevity
Then
pay,
has the language been
Yes, it's been
clarified in that?
updated.
Yeah.
And what is it?
so now it specifies that you have to be employed at the city of Weimar on December 1st when the checks are cut. Okay? Because there was some confusion about, when people leave.
So if you leave in October,
Too
you're
bad.
out of luck.
You're out of luck.
Done.
Okay,
It's
and it's
on
very
page
clear.
122.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's very, very clear now.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you for that.
thank you,
Yes.
Danny.
Yeah.
Anything that, Danny, you need to highlight?
Well, we made a lot of, changes simply because, my position was created as human resources and previously Dolores had handled human resources. So there's a lot of places that say city secretary versus human resources. We adjusted that. There was some vagueness on some things that we tried to clear up. There were some policies that were implemented along the way that were not updated in the personnel manual, like with certain hours for police officers, they were getting extra vacation and things like that. That wasn't in the manual. We just wanted to update it to what was actually being done at the payroll desk.
And then 2-11 nepotism,
Yes, that's also been
we
updated.
removed the words "and former spouse," and then we removed the word "cousin." Also updated the nepotism graphs here, the charts.
Okay.
Good deal.
I would think that took a lot of work.
Well, the nepotism chart is pretty standard because there is a state law that
Yes.
applies to nepotism. So
we just made it match.
And these matching state laws.
Seems that seemed more reasonable.
I do have one section where I want y'all to look at on page 69,
Yes.
4-06. I would like for the council to reconsider removing section 406 regarding comp time for exempt employees. I understand, I mean, I don't know the reasoning for it being taken out. The policy clearly states that the city manager may grant the comp time for exempt employees. It also, you know, he could permit those that are exempt to have some time off for time that they have meetings or have to be up here for elections or have to be here at another times. So I don't know the problem that it's gonna solve by removing that policy right there.
I mean, I can speak.
You
on
want to
that.
ask a few, and then I'll add.
Well, okay, yeah, so originally the wording said the city may from time to time give time off to exempt employees in recognition for a job well done. Well, first of all,
Subjective.
it's very subjective, and we wanted to be as clear as possible for everybody. And the other part of that is, we were having employees give themselves time off. The city wasn't awarding anything. They were giving themselves comp time. And so if the city was meant to be the city manager should have been doling out. And then, so it wasn't being done fairly to everybody either. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted to remove it, because we get vacation time, personal time, sick time, holidays. I mean, I feel like we're being very fair to the employees with time off. I think everybody who, in my opinion, if you're on salary, you know you're gonna have to give a little more. I know I give more. I know that when I was on vacation for 3 days, I came up here twice to do things that I knew needed to get done.
Well, who is considered an exempt employee?
That's right. I'm sorry, Mike.
People who are on salary.
Who are they? How many people do we have on salary?
So we have the police chief, myself, David, Maria, Michael, and Missy. I'm sorry.
And Clay.
Okay.
And Clay, yes.
Do they take time off? Like, have they used this policy to take off some of that comp time? We don't want to call it comp time, it's like flex time. So does anybody use that? Has
Well-
anybody been given that time off?
So I would say that, in my opinion, David is very fair. Like, Clay needs to go pick his kids up to go to an activity. Clay has that freedom to go do that.
So how was people abusing it before if the manager was the one assigning that time off, or he's the one that has to prove it? I don't see how, if those people that are exempt, are those the people that were abusing it?
Correct.
Like who?
Well, I don't want to name employees, I'm the HR director.
Okay, so you don't want to name employees, but
And
at the same time, are you gonna take it out for that one employee?
Well,
Is that
I don't think
employee
I just don't think it's no longer
I mean, I
necessary to
feel
have
like
comp
you
time.
expect us to work that extra, but you don't really appreciate us going that extra mile. And I'm not saying that we will abuse it, I'm just wanting to know, why was it put in there and why is it taken out now? I mean, if you say nobody uses it,
I didn't say nobody uses
it. Because I've asked David for a couple of hours, 3 hours on Friday afternoons, because I travel out of town. And with this, you're able to take that because he can tell me, no, you can't take off, or yes, you've been here and I've worked lunch, I've worked extra on meeting nights, we've had special meetings, we've extra, and I understand that we've worked those times, but the same token, am I appreciated for going that extra mile for those people that are responsible and are compassionate for their job. I feel like it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, taking it out, because now when I want a couple of hours out, is David gonna be able to say, yeah, you can take off? Is somebody gonna question it? Somebody gonna say, well, it's not on the policy? How are we gonna justify that? I called different cities around the area. Schulenburg has, flex time, they call it flex time. Columbus has flex time, and so does LaGrange. Other cities didn't answer, but they all have it, and Schulenburg has the problem that when we actually take off on a day that's assigned as a vacation day off, we get called And we get to have to answer questions about emails, about something that's going on in the city. So we're on our vacation time, but they're calling us. So how do you justify that? You know, I'm just trying to make it fair, and it's not just speaking for me, but any other person that's exempt, you know. I mean, they can fall back on that. They might need the extra 2 hours to go somewhere. I mean, why take it out? I mean, who, is it still being abused? And if,
It's also a liability if someone leaves, just FYI,
Yeah,
it is a
we're-
liability,
we're
because
gonna
something,
bank it, yeah, the bank
But
it
we're
is,
not-
no. But
that's not comparable.
we are,
to us.
our exempt employees, all of us, we're public servants. We serve the public. As far as not feeling compensated or acknowledged for the work, we're done that up front. In our salaries are raised up higher because we're exempt employees. You've gotten a little extra up front, knowing that you're not gonna just be hourly and work 40 hours. You might work 42 hours, 43 hours. So,
So is it, in the same token, is it gonna be okay for me to take 3 hours on a Friday afternoon without that in there?
so you asked me several times in the past, I've always said yes.
Yes,
You
because-
asked me for tomorrow, and I said yes, so.
Well,
But
when I
what
was,
she's, I guess what she's trying to get at is, since if it's taken out, are you gonna allow it further? Because really.
If it's not abused,
I mean, but that's kinda what I feel like,
how's it
'cause
gonna
I'm
be
exempt.
abused if you approve it, is what I'm saying.
we also get 3 personal days and vacation
Right.
time and sick
Right, we
time
get a
and a
lot of-
floating birthday holiday. So it's
Yeah.
not like we're not providing employees, exempt or not, time off. And hourly employees, I mean, if, one of the ladies or one of the public works guys wants to come in or take a shorter lunch, so, cause they need to leave at 4:30 or 4 o'clock or 3:30 or whatever the deal is, and depending on what their schedule is, I mean, I feel like we are super flexible.
So who wants it out? I mean, you know, I don't see the problem, because, I'm thinking this is more of an incentive for people to stay and have that, you know, motivation, you know, they appreciate you, and to me, it's more realistic to leave it and be able to take those 2 hours without feeling like somebody's gonna have a problem with it. I know David can approve it, but is everybody okay with it? Or why did this come up? I don't know.
I just think,
I mean, who's taking it out
I
and
don't know if to
why?
be motivated, but I think we should just want to be here. I don't know, I don't, you know, I don't know, I don't need extra person. But anyways, this is Flatonia. Exempt employees are expected to work the number of hours necessary to fulfill their job responsibilities, typically at least 40 hours a week. These employees are not eligible for overtime or compensatory time, regardless of hours worked beyond the standard work week. So that's Flatonia.
And David
But
also,
they are
you,
exempt. I
but
mean-
David also added in here, during a disaster, that we have put in a provision to pay exempt employees, salaried employees, time and a half. So if there was something major that happened where we needed to stay till midnight or 2 a.m. to get a job done because the city's falling apart because something major happened, the mayor or David, whoever the city manager is at the time, can give the employees extra, those salaried employees extra. It's not like we're not looking out for everybody. We're trying to look out for everybody. David, myself, Clay, Derek, all went through this, and the whole book, page by page, line by line, and did what we felt like was, we wanted it to be clear. We don't want subjective. We want employees to know exactly what they're entitled to by looking at this book. That was the goal.
I feel like directors should have been able to have input.
So, you know, the way I look at this is I'm a salary employee. I don't feel like we really have this in our policy, but say if I had to come here early, I leave early and it's no questions asked, you know, as long as I don't, you know, I don't, abuse it, you know,
And
and
that's what I,
and say on Fridays, I leave at noon every now and then, but I do, whether it's, you know, coming to meetings and stuff like that, I make up that time at the same time to fill my 40-hour week. You know,
and that's
I
what
just
I
don't-
do.
I mean, I just don't, to me,
I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like, why take it out?
I'm kinda with, that's what I was trying to get at, I'm kinda with you too. I mean, it's kinda like, as long as you don't abuse it, I don't think that's gonna be an issue, but I don't really know how it is or how it's supposed to be in a handbook, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it is in our handbook. But, I mean, I went today for the meeting to be at 4 o'clock. I mean, we get off at 4, but I left at 3:45 to make sure, you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, but it's just, to me, I feel like it's your boss. It's, you know what I mean, like how they.
Say so,
Yeah, the
then I'm
manager
okay
has,
with it.
yeah, exactly.
And you know,
If he has to say so,
and if you leave an hour early, it's not like you have to burn vacation for that, you know, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have to run to the dentist office.
Correct.
For an hour tooth cleaning,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Correct.
I mean, that's how we have it too. We have a doctor's appointment, we get an hour extra, you know, we take,
That's right.
you know, you know what I mean? I don't
So
know.
we-
I guess we're more.
I would share with
flexible.
you guys
have
that
it in
I
here.
spent probably,
Yeah.
I spent
I
over,
I guess.
I spent
Okay.
over 40
I just
years of my
wondered.
life as a contract employee, you know, having to deal with these kind of things, and it kind of it was a, you know, employee chart situation. The superintendent trusted the principals to treat their employees fairly. We didn't really have anything in our handbooks that said that, you know, if you need to leave 2 hours early on Friday, that it was okay to do that. We trusted the people who supervise people to be fair to everyone. And then if they were not fair to everyone, obviously that ultimately gets back to, well, in my situation, eventually it was the superintendent, and then I was the superintendent. That eventually gets back to that person, and if they're not dealing with it, then the board has to deal with the superintendent, or the superintendent has to deal with the principals. So, you know, I figured we would trust David to treat all employees fairly, and then, and if he doesn't, then we'd have to address that concern with David as a council.
So does this change anything if this is in there or not? Cause I don't.
To me, it's not necessary to be in there,
I would be okay
because I
with
trust
that
my
if
supervisors.
David has, you know, he has to say so.
David will
whether I
still
get
be
approved or not.
eligible to
I'm
give.
fine
David
with
is
it.
the one who's, or the city manager is the
Is
one
the
who has
one.
approved it always.
Yes.
So nothing changes with that
Yeah, that's why
situation.
I didn't think, from what y'all was saying, I didn't think nothing changed.
Yeah,
but-
it's just,
But, I mean,
I don't know, I'm
it
just
needs to be
listening.
taken out. As long, I just want.
I think it was just, the concern was, did David have the latitude to do that? And I don't see how he couldn't have the latitude.
Right.
So do you
As long
just
as
feel
all
more comfortable
employees
with being in
would
there?
be-
Is that-
It don't matter, if everybody's already lit, you know, he's got to say so, he's let me off every time I ask, but I just didn't know. It was put in there, now it's taken out, why, I mean, you know,
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
but that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm okay
So
with
that
it.
latitude exists, and so it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
We just want to make sure everybody's treated
Just wanna
fairly.
make sure.
Yeah. I've always thought.
Because I do try to, I mean,
Yeah.
on Friday, I don't know if other directors take advantage of that, I don't know, but I'm.
So,
fine with it.
building off of what Danny said on, let's say the place is burning down and you have to work till midnight all week. So, if you're a salary, and I'm salary as well. So if you're a salary employee and then 1 week everything hits the fan, at what point do you declare that this is an overtime qualification?
She
It's
said-
in here,
Yes,
as
yeah, it's in
a
here.
disaster,
The mayor or the city manager has to declare it as a
Yeah.
disaster. Yeah.
We would have to declare that, and then it would go into effect.
so going back to the tornado we had that time,
Okay.
I came up here, I spent many, many hours. Danny, you were up here.
No, I
No,
wasn't
you
here
were,
yet.
you weren't up here, but there was a couple of us up here. And being salary employees, we got no extra compensation. But I just feel like, and as a city manager, I won't get extra compensation now as it is. But it just incentivizes people to come up here, spend 6, 7 hours during bad conditions to help us. And the people who are exempt, I would think will be needed during a major event like that.
But
So
those are very devoted
Yes.
employees.
Yeah.
That's
so-
how they've risen to those positions.
Right,
I
right.
just remember that famous phrase in my contract, and all other duties as assigned. And they were always being assigned.
Sign, yes, yes.
So you have to kind of get comfortable with that if you're gonna serve in these roles.
And I understand that FEMA is also, if they haven't done it already, FEMA is looking to put into place the same policy to get compensation for disasters. So that's something, it's either in place now or will be done shortly from FEMA.
Building off what you said a while back, is there, and I haven't read through this completely, is there anything talking about how the city pays for these certifications for people and they leave?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
That's a good one.
That,
That's not in the personnel manual, no.
that we,
David and
at
I
least,
had-
I was certainly adamant about that, you know, when we pay all these certification fees that on multiple occasions people have left on us. After we paid all this money to have them certified, they went to a job that they perceived to be better, and we footed the bill. So I feel like there needs to be something in here that addresses that. Thank you, Clayton. So I'd let that slip my mind. And to me, that is a critical piece, that we're training all these people up, spending money, and out the door they go.
So would that go in here, or would that be a contract
Well, I
between
think
the
if you
city
make
and?
a contract, right, though? Like, depending
Well, I
on
mean,
what
you
the
could have a
certification is.
policy, but realistically, no one's gonna write us a check. I don't wanna have to be suing.
Even if they
people. So
leave?
what you would have to do is if they've got accrued vacation or
Right.
accrued sick leave or anything where they're thinking, I'm gonna resign and get a check, we would take it out of that. And we can put that in the policy. You would just say, if we've paid for certification within the last 12 months and you leave, we're entitled to deduct all reasonable expenses related to that credentialing from any accrued time that you get walking out the door. I mean, I don't know that I would wanna say, well, we'll take it out of your last paycheck. We could, but that's kinda harsh.
Some of them kind of burn all that time off before they leave.
Right, no, I know, and that's the thing, right? If they're gonna do it, then it's a game. Then if they know you were gonna take it out of their vacation, they're gonna go take vacation,
Yep.
use their vacation, come back, oh, by the way, I quit, you know.
Could you make them stay 3 years, or?
So, I guess my question about this
You can't
was,
force somebody to, you can't force someone to come stay at work.
But
It's
why
But
would
what's-
you take it out of their last paycheck? Cause I feel like, you know, what I mean, I need that, cause like you said, vacation, I'll use my vacation then, you know, I mean.
so what's the threshold though? Are we talking about a $100 class, or are we talking about a $3,000
Yeah.
class? Or
Like
what,
police
are you
training
talking
was a
about?
little, the police academy was. we put a
Thousands of
couple-
dollars,
Yeah,
huh?
thousands of dollars for
Yeah.
that one.
Plus we paid them salaries.
We paid them money while they were doing that, and then they
But
got
then
done,
they-
they left right away, pretty much.
Yeah, it does seem like we pretty regularly, we have city works people, we had, a code lady, code person.
Billy, yeah,
Billy,
yeah.
yeah.
You
Send
know,
them to school and
the-
get all that.
Yeah, the people have, we've paid for all these licenses and things, you know, and they leave. So, I mean, we could just, it's pretty easy to keep a running tab of what did we pay for in the last 12 months and.
Would it
I mean,
be-
if the council wants to take it out of their last paycheck, that's fine. That's a council decision. It's not illegal that
Right.
I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, would it be a percentage, is what I guess I wanna get in at, so if you paid for me to go to school, and I was $100, and I give you 2 months after that, would it be kind of like a percentage you take out, or
Like
would you just
prorated.
be a prorated, yeah?
That's what they've done other places.
Yeah, that's kinda what I'm thinking.
Chief, are you gonna say something?
We had a situation where we sponsored officers to the academy. We did it twice in Belleville. We came up with a contract with the officer before we sent them to the police academy. They were required to stay with us for a 2-year period after field training was finished. That way they were actually for the public, by the public the entire time. We did have one that left about 3 months earlier. They did the same thing. They didn't pull it out of his paycheck. They opted to take it from his vacation away from him, didn't have to pay the vacation out. And he was okay with that as well. So it's been done before
So
like that.
it's a garnishment in some way.
Yes.
But it was a contract.
It was a contract in
Yeah.
place.
I mean, you know, anyone who gets hired here signs off that they agree to the policy manual. So legally, the policy manual it's part of what you contract to abide by when you come work for the city.
That's true.
You know, in other words, it defines rights and obligations of both sides to it. So you could put it in here, you could prorate it, yeah, whatever, 10%, you could take 10% off a month of whatever we paid, so that then in 10 months, they would not owe anything for that certification, and the city would have got 10 months' work of benefit of the certification. And then you could certainly, with the high-ticket stuff, you can have a separate contract that is individual to the police officer or something.
Well, I would ask that we do that, because I know we're certainly expected to meet our obligation as a council and the city government. And, you know, I expect that employee to meet their obligation, because we made that contract or agreement of employment in good faith. And I think it should be acted on in good faith by the employee.
So would it be easier just to do contracts and not keep it in the handbook? Or just for the
You could put it in the handbook for the easy stuff, where you just say, in other words, 10% a month, and above that is taken out. Because then Danny doesn't really she does not gonna have to be running around doing a contract, everybody wants to go take a
Okay.
$500 certification.
Yeah.
But then if it's, and I apologize, I don't know how much the police stuff is, but if it was something
It
where it
was
was
like
$2,000 or $3,000, then you could certainly.
10,000 for a police.
I mean, you could say anything above
That's a
$1,000, we'll have a separate contract, and then we'll just
Right.
say, you know, the policy manuals doesn't apply to this contract.
Anything over
applies to
$1,000,
this.
yeah.
Could you put it somewhere in that policy manual though, because, you know, nobody's perfect, and
All right.
5 years from now, but, oh shoot, I forgot to get that contract
We
signed.
forgot or whatever.
You know, is there a way of covering us there?
On the big ticket stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, not really, because the big ticket stuff's gonna be pretty one-off kind of thing. because-
Specialized,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna be based
Yeah, but
on
just, we know
how
how.
much are we spending,
Yeah.
and, you know, and you would have to get input really from the department head, which it sounds like mostly it's gonna be you. Because I'm unaware that we spend that much money for anyone
What we
else.
did respond to during the academy, we paid during the academy, so we were paying a salary plus paying the academy fee. So
That's
that
what
was
we
a
did.
4-month process,
Yeah.
and it was subject to all of that money that we had put into it, so.
Just
it only
worried about
it.
didn't work
Yeah,
out one
'cause,
time,
you
it's
know,
only a
it's
3-month
easy to
gap
do. Everybody
between
gives-
the time left, so.
But it could be, I think it could be like in a, just in a sheet too, Paul, where it says, okay, this police officer is this, and on the bottom part, like it is here, this is where the contract can be, and that can be just a sheet that they give to you,
Yeah.
and that's your contract. So it won't always, you don't always have to remember that, so it's
True.
part of the sheet that they're giving.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
What I'm
that's
trying
true.
to get at?
Just you know how easy things, it
Oh, yeah.
happens.
Oh, you mean up front in the package where they come on board?
But yeah, even the
And that-
package
yeah,
when it's
yeah.
come on board, like, and just kinda just put it
Okay,
as a
we can
sheet
do
and
that.
say, this is what happens, and then it's part of your signing, or initial, or whatever, you
And we
know?
don't get very many cadets that go through training programs. A lot of them are seasoned officers.
For the most part, it's a last resort typically, but yeah, normally, we've had luck with what we've done so far.
We had
here.
two, I think we had two that went through the program.
And
and-
when we,
Did either two work?
one, and then, but he left before his term,
Well, there you go.
So We got burned on basically two.
right?
But yeah.
I just remember the burns. So David and Danny, could y'all work with Bo to make
Yes.
sure we get,
Yes.
So
thank you
can-
for that.
I mean, we can amend this tonight, and we can come back and re-amend it in 60 days or 30 days.
That sounds good. If we
They-
could get the bulk
I
of it
reviewed
done.
this, I don't have a problem with, David and Danny worked hard to go through this.
They did.
And read it page by page and change it, and
Very good.
it needed to be done.
It did.
So this effective date is immediately, or
That's fine.
Do,
the
okay.
effective date?
And do we have to put a clause in there saying that we're gonna amend it?
No. We'll just do
We can just put it on the
Just
next
come back
agenda.
again.
Yeah, just put it on the next agenda.
Oh,
Well, can we just make it effective the next meeting then? Because you know I'm gonna have to retype this whole thing, so I'm not gonna have it ready to distribute to employees probably till next
You
month.
wanna hold off on this, accepting this tonight?
You wanna, just let it die and,
I mean, we
Or
can do,
table it?
I think that'd be fair. That'll give me time to retype and stuff because everything's out of whack now because it wasn't the most user-friendly document. It was an old Word document I was working with, so.
So we'll do what we've done on the others. I'll call for motions and no one responds. Okay. We're looking at 9.8, motion for 9.8. Second call for a motion for 9.8. Third call for a motion for 9.8. Okay, that fails for lack of motion. We'll move to 9.9. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the ratification of the assessment and collection services contract with Colorado County Central Appraisal District for the 26-27 fiscal year. David?
Mayor, council, this is on page 142. This is basically what I call housekeeping. We've had contracts with them for many years now. It's for them to collect our ad valorem taxes. So I don't think we want it any other way.
no.
No. Absolutely not.
You don't get that for $500.
No, you don't. It's a bunch of dollars and it's not that. Okay, this is an action item.
I move to ratify the existing assessment and collection contract with Colorado County Central Appraisal District for the 2026-2027 tax year and authorize city staff to provide a copy of the approved meeting minutes to the district.
Motion Christian,
Second.
second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. 9.10, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the installation of stop signs at intersections along Highway 155 within the city of Weimar. David?
Mayor, council, if I could bring your attention to page 143. Is it on there? No. To the handout in front of you. I didn't know if it was included in there also. This little handout that says speed limit and stop sign proposal. Jim, you want to talk about this? Jim's done a lot of work and kind of got this together for us.
So basically on stop signs, there isn't, for whatever reason, when this town, it's a town of yield signs, which makes absolutely zero sense to me. When you have, it's a high, it's basically not a highway, but it's an FM 155 and they're all yield signs from I-10 to 90, from 90 out to Tekla, I believe. All that needs to be stop signs, every street, every one of them. And then we talked about adding 2 on UTEX Drive.
I heard a lot of complaints of people, when they leave or on their break, or they go for lunch, or they leave for the day, they come flying out of UTEX on both ends. And so I think if we add a stop sign right there on each end, it would help control traffic.
Great idea.
Yes, it is.
But as busy as 155 is, it's just common sense that needs to be stop signs.
We already have them on 90.
On 90, everything's good.
But yeah, so, we have the yield signs there now, so it's a matter of buying the stop signs, and we have the hardware, everything's there, just replacing the yield sign with a stop sign.
Can we just make sure to get the, I don't know, it seems like the ones we put up at the intersection, they don't
Yeah.
seem like they're big enough. Can we get the big ones?
They're smaller than the
Yes.
others.
These are, how many inches? So
I-
these are
I
the
don't
size for the speed limits that we have in town.
Yeah.
The biggest ones are like, well, I know,
I know
I-10
what
would
he's
have
talking
a
about.
bigger, but
The ones over there are too
these are
small.
30 inches, I think.
At the-
They are, that's
30
exactly,
inches is what
30
these
inch,
are.
30 inch
This is-
signs.
This is what the standard, I'll double check to make sure that that's
But
the,
those over at that four-way stop or whatever that is over there,
Those that we put up around
they're
around
little
the
bitty. I'm
school.
like, wow,
Can we
They're small.
replace those while we're doing them?
I didn't know that
I
they were,
would, they definitely need to be done, because
they're
very
not
hard
that
to see.
big. I've missed it one time.
so those
I missed it one
eight
time.
over there, right? The correct 8?
Did you hear that, chief?
I've heard,
You missed it one time.
just one time, they were so small, I was like, oh, that's a
Wait, no,
stop
there's
sign.
a three-way, so it'd be
7.
7, I believe it should be 7 of them.
Okay.
I mean, it was still a legal sign, but they are smaller than the others.
Correct.
They are.
And they did put red flags.
Mhm.
They did,
Yeah, they did.
they did try to,
Yep.
draw attention to it, but, it was,
Red flags. were
other
big
than
and I
that,
saw
for
it.
so long, people just, it took some time to get, so it wouldn't hurt to have a larger sign.
On the stop signs, I don't know that y'all need to say a dollar amount. It's only $3,600. I'm sorry, the stop signs are,
And that was a
16.
rough bid. I mean,
yeah.
we talked about vendors. I had no privy to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I was looking at
so up to-
online.
If you want to do up to $2,500, something like that, that's fine. Just in case I need to get the next largest size, I'll go measure those other ones after a while.
I move to authorize staff to coordinate with the appropriate transportation authority to install stop signs at the designated intersections along Highway 155 within the city of Weimar in the amount of $2,500, and then also to add at the junior high the four-way stops.
To correct us, yes.
Is that an
okay.
appropriate amount, Jim?
The amount of signs? I didn't-
2,500.
$2,500. The bid came in around
Probably. Depends on the
1620.
size. I don't
It
know.
should be pretty close.
extra $900.
Yeah.
Okay, come back with us.
Almost double.
Well, if
Okay.
it's under 10,000, we
I
can
can do
approve
that
it.
Yeah,
anyways.
that's
Yeah,
right.
I can do it.
Very
I'll
good.
second that.
Who was the motion? Christian. Got all lost in the sign world. Okay, motion Christian, second Roberts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
So we will post this on Facebook,
Yes.
put something in the
Absolutely.
newspaper, And we just want to educate everybody, and you'll probably work with the public the first
Oh, yeah,
couple,
absolutely.
X amount of days to,
For sure.
it's something new to all of us, and we'll have to. We're gonna pay for the sign somewhere, huh?
I don't drive that street anymore, that's all I
Stay
know.
away from it.
No, very good. Okay,
Okay, we'll move on to 9.11, discussion and consideration of possible action regarding the installation of 30-mile-per-hour speed limit signs at various locations throughout the city of Weimar. David?
again, Jim? I'll let you.
So, just, there's no speed limit signs in this town, other than on 155. And not everybody knows the state standard for speed in a city is 30 miles an hour. So I propose that we mark the streets, and I'm not talking every block. When you come off of 155, you put one in the first block, mid-block, and I'm talking about both north-south streets, east-west streets, is what I'm proposing. I have a map. I don't know if you, were they?
I don't know that I brought it with me.
Okay. But it's not every block that there's gonna be a speed limit sign. It is a lot of signs because, I mean, it's a total approximately of 73 signs. Plus, you're gonna need the posts for these and the hardware to hang the sign on the post. Now, my proposal for the post is a U-channel post, not a round steel post. They're a little cheaper. And then you can use some security nuts and bolts where the signs can't be taken off. So,
How much cheaper are they than the regular old round posts? You any idea off the top of your head?
I
No.
can't
I think they're
remember.
quite a bit cheaper.
They're quite a bit cheaper.
They'll stand the test of time.
What's that?
They'll stand the test of time. We
Not
Oh,
every
yeah.
block.
They're,
Don't have to worry
I
about
believe,
the
I
green.
believe the 12 or 14 gauge steel. I mean, it's pretty heavy stuff.
We have some around town.
We got, and there is some around town, yeah.
Okay.
Do they have to be that breakaway or whatever?
No,
I don't believe so on these.
and they need to be 7 foot. The-
7
The base of all of our signs need to be 7
7
foot
feet from the ground level,
to the
yeah.
base.
Who's gonna install them
I
all?
was just about to ask that.
I'll watch.
Michael?
I guess that was a question. Do you have a driver,
Bring them water.
T-post driver that can hook to the Bobcat? Do you have anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Got one I can hook with these, that's about it.
All right.
I think there's a $30 attachment you put on to protect the head of it. It's about $40, $50 maybe for that little attachment. But we'll see. We'll do it after it rains, of course.
Maybe a while before these signs go up.
Could have a Mark Utilities here.
Yeah, Mark Utilities.
Yes, we do have to do that also, right, Michael?
Oh, absolutely.
So we do get regular complaints of those streets being like
Oh, we've had
race.
we've had a lot of complaints, and it's on it. At one time, I tried to kind of look at where the complaints were. Maybe there was a pattern, and there's not. It's just wherever.
Well, my most recent one was when I spoke to the Senior Connections Group this week, and the sweet lady pointed out her particular house, and she's on Center, and certainly that is an applicable street where it is a racetrack, as are many, I'd say most of the streets in our town,
Center,
And,
College, East South Street.
all of them. That at least it would put folks on notice.
Yes.
Can't say, well, I didn't know. I mean, we did learn that in driver's ed, but maybe we forget, I don't know.
In addition, I had constructed, with the help of Chris Geist, who works for the city,
Yes.
a mobile speed. It'll flash their speed. I haven't got it working yet. I got it all attached, I just can't get it working, and it's technology and,
Probably delayed maintenance.
It was actually pulled out of service, so it may be some issues, so.
there could be, I think it's a computer board, I'll figure that out. But in high complaint areas, my thought was, I can take this sign to that area,
Yes.
even after these signs are up, because we're still gonna get complaints, you know there will be.
Yes.
We had that?
Take,
We had a sign.
Used to be on St. Charles.
Hallettsville loaned us a sign.
Oh, that was on loan.
That was from Hallettsville.
Okay.
They loaned us a sign one time.
anyway, just on top of that, I have that.
We have two right now, one there and one there.
There's one on College and one on,
Yeah.
90.
Out here.
Yeah. It's very similar, but it's gonna be mobile. I can move it around. It's on wheels.
Okay.
See them on highways all the time.
Construction.
I-10, it's full of them.
Yeah. This one's hand mobile. I mean, you can push it around.
All right. Okay, this is an action item, council.
I move to approve the installation of 30-mile-an-hour speed limit signs at locations as amended by council and authorize the city manager to proceed accordingly.
Motion Langhoff,
Second.
second Christian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay,
This will probably be phased in as the weather permits.
after some rain. All right, move on to 9.12. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding regulations governing the operation of scooters and electric bicycles, e-bikes on city streets within the city of Weimar. David?
Mayor, council, and chief, if you'd address this, chief brought us a couple handouts here.
I did.
We've gotten a lot of complaints around town, a lot of concerns, not so much complaints, but concerns about the kids riding these.
Yes.
Several times I've been out, actually with police officers, 2 or 3 times, and they just zoom right past us. So that's kind of what led into this discussion tonight.
It's most importantly about safety, especially our children. That's what it's always been about. The state of Texas has laws pertaining to this. They're pretty lenient, is my opinion, and they leave it to the cities and municipalities to try to, hone in on what's most specific to the needs of that particular municipality, with exception to certain things like, really, you got 2 animals you're talking about here. You got e-bikes and e-scooters. I've learned a lot about them in the last couple of days, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't know a whole lot beforehand. But as I was talking to Bo earlier, these bigger cities are dealing with it more and more. It is moving out this direction. We're seeing it in our smaller communities now, and we have to address it before it becomes a huge problem. And I think if we get in front of it, that's better than chasing it. So if you see, I do have a, talking specifically about e-bikes alone, you'll have a flyer in front of you that is from Prosper, Texas, which is a suburb in the Dallas area. Of course, it's about a 30,000 population city, so quite larger than what we are. But this is what they've implemented. Some of it, like I said, you can't mess with max power, 750 watts. That's a state law. You cannot change that. Minimum age rider, that can be changed if you choose to do so by a city ordinance. No license required, so you can't change anything like that. Any of the main things, components of this state or state law cannot be changed, but many can. Helmets, age with specific units that they're riding, depending on how big they are. I didn't realize that e-bike had 3 different classes, as you see on the Prosper, Texas flyer. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. Each one has different components to it. So that's what e-bikes in general pertain to, and I'm not going to read all of it to you. You can see it and read it yourself. And they've done a really good job by putting this flyer together and also providing some of the state law requirements and some of their own restrictions at the bottom of this flyer. So if y'all choose to do something like this, we can certainly create it in our own format and push it out to the public. Now, if you go to e-scooters, they're pretty much the same in certain aspects, but e-bikes are a little more powerful in general, or layman's terms, than e-scooters are. Again, it's very lenient as far as the law is concerned here. It's more specific to what the city wants to do. For instance, Texas has no statewide age for riding electric scooters. That's up to a city to impose if they choose to do so. And I've highlighted some of those areas that y'all can look at where you can ride pretty much wide open unless the city restricts that. And so I guess it's really what we're trying to accomplish here, and get specific about what we're trying to accomplish here for the safety of our kids and anybody that's riding one of these for the most part. It's all about safety. I think that, bicycles in itself alone, or, especially at nighttime, you don't have lights on them. They're very hard to see. They're very, people can run over you pretty easily. And I think it's even more so in these types of situations with the e-scooters. So it's really what council wants to do, what the city really thinks we need to do, and we can pretty much implement what we want to do as long as we're not superseding some of these mandates that the state does require on specifics. So I provided both for y'all to look at. If there's something we need to table and kind of look at and come back later at a different time, and really hone in on what's important and make sure that we're not superseding state laws on certain things here, that they are not going to change. But those items that we can get more specific about and put in place, I think we should. I really like the Prosper flyer. I really do. I think it really kind of puts it in place about what safety is all about, and they put their own age restrictions on some of these e-bikes. So
Seems like we could use that as kind of a template and come up with our own expectations.
Yeah,
And
when
it
I
would
was,
be tailored.
when I was researching this, I didn't realize you have to go with the traffic instead of against the traffic and everything, you know.
walking, you go
walking, yeah.
against, bicycles have to
Yeah.
go with, it's basically the
Yeah.
same laws as an automobile would be in the state of Texas.
Yeah. And they do recommend having the front lights and the rear light reflectors and stuff like that when I was, because I'm with you, I didn't really know much about e-bikes and stuff, so I looked it up.
I certainly didn't. But
So-
it's coming, or it is here. It's not coming
Yeah.
our way, it's currently here. But you read, like, for instance, this would be a city ordinance. Riders cannot wear headphones, earbuds, earplugs, or noise reduction devices. Is that too strict? Is that something that's acceptable? Those kind of things, that's really up to a city council and city to determine how they want to handle that.
So, 155 over here, right by main package and all that, what's the speed limit over there?
Just
30.
35.
35.
30 or 35?
And it's more.
It's 30 there.
Because,
For an
I
e-bike?
mean, I know we're not talking about this just yet, but it says, and this is all up for debate later, with speed limits of 35 or lower, I don't want scooters on 155.
Correct, or 90, really.
Yeah.
Because they're on the
Yeah,
side.
but I think the state law says you can't because it's a highway.
It's a, yeah.
That keeps it off right now.
Thing you
Because
gotta-
we've been through that, I know, talking about it with golf.
Golf carts, yeah.
And other similar vehicles, and I do think there's a state law that says you can't, probably, I'll check, but it wouldn't shock me if there's something that says you can't drive a scooter on a state highway. I would hope that would
So
be
there's,
state law.
we need to define
Yeah.
make it public the difference between a highway and a road.
The only bit the thing I would like to probably see on this is kind of following suit with our, when you can and can't ride them, so it's not so much at night.
Night, yeah, that's
Kind of like the
good.
golf cart ordinance. That's the only
Exactly,
thing,
yeah.
that would be a great idea.
Well, just like this, riders cannot operate after dusk without the proper front and rear lighting if you were to even, let it happen, so.
Because we don't let the golf carts do it, so I think we just gotta follow suit with
I
that.
would think
It's just
so.
for safety.
Do what we can to align it with that. We probably need to do some work on this.
I think so. I think this is something we can revisit. Maybe we can sit down together with you, Bo, as well, and really hone in on it, and then come back and make a final decision on it.
Are there things that you like or don't like, headphones, helmets, all that, so we can just incorporate it in right away,
I think this one's great.
just like this one?
Yeah.
I mean, I do
Saying a
like
couple
it,
things.
yeah.
I don't like
Okay.
night, you like night riding?
Oh, no, besides the night.
No, night riding. Okay, got that, okay, good. I guess it's a good place, okay, good.
So no night riding, even with the lights and everything?
I don't think
Because,
so.
man, it'd be too hard to see at night, and it's kind of, we don't let the golf carts do it. in my
Can you,
opinion. Do the
can
same
you
thing.
see a light that's this big around?
Correct.
Maybe not. I don't know.
It's not so much, them, it's the driver coming on, paying attention, just the intersections and everything.
Well, I got a question about that, and maybe Bo can answer it. It's bicycle laws. There's a bicycle set of rules that you have to follow in the state of Texas, and one of the things that's allowed in that is the front and rear light on a bicycle. So are we saying, okay, motorized bikes or scooters cannot ride at night, but bicycles can? You know what I mean? So
Correct.
I don't know, would that contradict itself?
Bikes have to have reflectors. I mean, any sane person.
Right.
Would have a light, but it's not required by state law. I think the reflectors are.
Yeah.
You don't ever hear it's enforced.
That would be a city ordinance
You know,
then?
I mean, a bike is, if we have anyone around here who's riding a bicycle at 20 miles an hour, we really need to recruit them.
They're triathletes.
To me, that's the biggest difference. A bike, they're going 10 to maybe 15 miles an hour if they're coming downhill.
Yeah.
And it's, so these e-bikes are a huge problem in Austin.
They sure are.
Because the kids have them, and they zip around at night, they're on sidewalks, they're in and out of traffic.
locally, I see more scooters. You know, that's just what I see. I don't know if you can limit it at night, by age.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
would maybe expect
certainly could.
someone who's capable of driving a vehicle to, you know, at that age. I don't know, it's up to y'all. I'm just throwing
Yeah,
things out
but
there.
I don't remember exactly what we did with golf carts. I thought they could be at night with lights, but I don't
I
know.
think we did, it was like
Dusk
30
to
minutes
dawn.
after,
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
sunset.
Just
I think
right
that's
after
what it was.
dusk.
Yeah,
Right
I
after
mean,
dusk.
you know, we could do it with scooters and e-bikes too.
At least then it all follows suit.
Kind of rely on.
Right,
Yeah.
and you know, if people have a problem with it, they'll call their council.
They will definitely do that,
Absolutely.
and we would invite that.
No, that's perfect, yeah.
So we'll do a little more work on this.
Okay.
So, Bo, do we need to follow suit and kind of, no motions, I'll call for them several times?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
work with the chief on that. We'll
Okay,
get something
so-
to you next week.
Calling for a motion on 9.12. Second call for a motion on 9.12. Third call for a motion on 9.12. No motion, fails for lack of motion. 9.13, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding setting the date for the employee appreciation dinner. David, council.
Mayor, council, I wish we need to try to set a date for the appreciation dinner. Lauren was working on this project, and Lauren was asking, and I said we would bring it before council, try and work out a date so she can,
We usually do it in December.
Is there a date that she suggested that, no?
beginning of December.
Do we do the, I was gonna say, didn't we do the first Friday?
That's the first Friday of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Didn't we always do the first, because the second always interfered with
Council meeting.
Santa
Yes.
Claus or somebody coming to town? Well, it did, something with,
And we
That way you
cannot
can get it
have
early, that
that.
way you get more time.
yeah, Santa has the right to
Santa
come to
has the
town.
right over everything.
Yeah, we can eat any other time.
Exactly.
Well, I say
Well, the
December
4th would
4th.
be that first Friday. So is that a motion?
No, I was gonna say, I'm just saying the 4th, it sounds good to me. Well, I'll move to set the day for the employee appreciation dinner as December 4th, 2026, and direct the staff to proceed with all the necessary arrangements.
Motion
Meaning
Roberts,
menu.
second Langhoff. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Move on to 9.14, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution number 2026-07-09-01, authorizing the filing of an application with the Texas Water Development Board for financial assistance, requesting financial participation from the TWDB, and authorizing designated representatives to act on behalf of the city of Weimar. David through Michael.
And Michael, Michael, if you want to come up, Mayor Council, this starts on page 148. And this is actually a good thing we're working towards getting this grant money, and it's just some bookkeeping work that we need to take care of to be able to apply for this grant.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Good
this-
evening.
This is the Texas Water Development Board's water infrastructure grant, water supply and infrastructure grant. This is got a due date of July 30th for all applications and everything that needs to be done. This was a rather quick one.
Yeah.
I first hit my table in May, but they say that this will be paid out within the year. So it's all a very fast-moving grant, and a lot of it's coming from the lead and copper rule and all that, trying to help these small towns get a jump start on this. Just one of the many that we've been trying to hustle up. And really all we're authorizing is David and myself to go through as, mainly David as the authorized representative and me following up with anything else that needs to be done.
So on page 148 is a resolution. Requesting financial participation from the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing the filing of this application.
Council, this is an action item.
Are we to put the representatives as David, do we have to name the David and Michael as representatives, or just, it could
What
be
page is
just
that on?
147?
Oh, that's fine, yeah. our motion that I usually put down.
Yes.
Do you need to
And designating
Designate.
representatives, do we need
Yes,
names in
that'd be
there?
on here?
Names or titles?
Titles,
Titles, please.
titles.
So we have, on page 149, it gives you the titles, Finance Director, City Manager, and Utility Director. Those three titles. We're doing, assuming different roles.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-07-09-01, authorizing in the filing of the application with the Texas Water Development Board for financial assistance requesting financial participation from the Texas Water Development Board and authorizing designated representatives to act on behalf of the City of Weimar in connection with the application and related matters for the Finance Director, City Manager, and Utility Director.
Motion
Second.
Christian, second Roberts. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Right, so that will move to item 10. This is a discussion item only. Discussion only regarding updates on the water infrastructure, wastewater system projects, operations, and related matters.
Mayor, Council, Councilman Christian asked the last council meeting if the council could get some updates on where we are, what we've done so far with the water system, where we are, that type of thing, correct?
Sure, and I apologize for not having time to get these copied. I had intended to have one for everybody. I'd be happy to pass this down to everybody and we can talk about it. Most of the things have all been mentioned here. But it's a status update of where we are. So when I came into here, I had three major problems that I witnessed right off the bat. The aging infrastructure, which led to the water problems, mainly the corroded pipes. The lack of training. Basically, everybody knew what to do on a basic day-to-day, but then that led to problem number three. Everything in town, when I first started, was being hired out to contractors because we just flat out didn't have the knowledge or skill or anything like that. So we've gone through and corrected all of that. From everything that I can see, Weimar water and wastewater is legal for the first time in at least 2 years since 2024. And everything is, I mean, even reports that weren't done in the last 10 years for, say, chlorine reports, things like that, they're all upkept now. This is kind of what my experience has been in the past, is coming in and cleaning up violations. In my career, I've never had a real violation that wasn't something like we had at the compliance investigation where, okay, this fence line has a barbed wire at the top that's a little loose or needs vegetation trimmed off of the fence line, little small things that can be rectified with a couple of hours. This is the first time I've had to go through violations on this scale. And now we're finally coming out clean. And now that we've got the aerator approval, now all violations have actually come across here, been approved, and now it's just finalizing the final paperwork as far as, like I said, the ground storage tank and then the wastewater treatment violation. Again, I'm trying to get us to a point, and I believe I've gotten us there, where now we don't have to hire out contractors just because we don't know how to do the job. Now we're at a place where we hire out contractors because we need the help. Again, to go back to something that I've been wanting to do as a pet project since February, is the valve and hydrant maintenance. And with everything going on, we just got swamped and got back on it. But now we've got the proper tools. Everybody's pretty much trained up. We've got valve replacement kits in stock for bonnets, for valves, all of that. Only for our most common models. There's a few odds and ends that we don't have yet, but as those needs arise, they're easy enough to get where we don't have to keep them stocked for 5 years just to let them go to waste. But like I said, with the hydrants, those two hydrants pay for all the tools. The fact of just putting a $400 valve kit down there instead of a $5,000 hydrant with the backfill and everything else. I mean, the tools are paid for themselves. So that's where I want us at, ideally, is to know what needs to be done, do it all ourselves as we can, and then as the need arises, where things get backed up on us, call out for help. And as of right now, We had the one contractor come into town for any like water lines, sewer lines, anything like that. We had one come in at the very beginning of the year. I think it was January 6th. That's the only contractor we've called. That was for the hydrant replacement and moving the hydrant at St. Michael's, and then they also worked on a leak. That was a problem area at South Mechanic and East South Street. Any questions?
Michael, how long have you been with us?
Since November.
Since November?
It's amazing.
Yeah, I was just curious to see, like, 'cause since you cleaned it all up.
This is, what, 7 months in?
Yeah.
And like I said, I kind of went through the licensing that we've gone through since I got here. When I first got here, we had one D water operator that had just gotten his license in July of 2025. And now almost everybody across the board is at least through a class. Right now, we only have one person left that's taking a class, waiting to go for an application. That's one of our two newest hire, out of the 4 that we hired back in September or October. One's still working through the class, one has just finished and has applied. We currently have Christian Mendoza going for his CSI, and Christian Geist trying again for his D water at the end of this month. And hopefully Travis, once we get his information back from TCEQ, might even join them or shortly thereafter in August. And even to the point, like I said, where I've seen a few instances where there's things grandfathered in, like businesses or something that doesn't have a backflow preventer, kind of concerned me. I already had the inspection qualifications, but I didn't have the tester or repair qualifications. So I went out of pocket just to make sure that the city had that. And I went and took the class 2 weeks ago, and I'll be testing here in the next month as well. So now we've kind of brought everything, water, wastewater, electric, in-house as it should be. Now we aren't dependent on anybody else.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I know from when Kyle and I are, believe it or not, we're the experienced council members other than Becky now, that it's amazing.
Yes.
2 years ago, it was shocking, the lack of ability because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And we're 180 degrees from where we were. So we appreciate your efforts. It's amazing.
Well, thank y'all. And something I want to leave y'all with, we kind of touched over it a little bit on the budget meeting, but our 2 biggest problems are things that have just been neglected, and they're past their lifespan. Our piping is way past our lifespan. And most of the people in this room, your parents or your grandparents paid for it back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then there's been no improvement, no investment into it since. So now that the EPA has come through with a deadline, now we actually have a reason to start making a plan. And I've been hustling around trying to find different kinds of funding. We're working on 2 grants right now, plus the performance contracting thing, just anything for a little bit of cash inflow or cash flow. But the plan that we've had in the past of let's just pick a little area and throw, 50,000, 100,000, whatever into that area and fix that little line, that's just not going to cut it. We have to come up with a thorough plan in the next few months, next year, to actually attack this. And these are things that Strand has given us multiple reports over the years that shows multiple millions of dollars. And now we have a deadline, 8 years, and we're already 2.5 years behind. The grant that came across our desk today, it's the last round of funding from this lead and copper rule. They did it in 23, 24, 25, skipped 26. So far, they've issued out almost 400 million, and there's another 70 on this round, and then that's it. So this has already been going for a while, and we're very late on picking this up. But this is something we will definitely have to look at in the near future, as well as, like I said, the lagoons. They're in desperate need.
And I'm sure we're not the only ones behind the 8 ball as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully everybody got their funding by now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right for us.
Michael, could you send this to us?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
'Cause it looks great. We'd just like to have, at least I would like to have more time to look over it.
Not a problem. You'll get it in the morning.
Staff-wise, do you have everything that you need currently, or we still need to hire more?
We still need to hire more. We're working right now on getting another mower laborer in, and that would give us 3. Because right now, we've had Mr. Orlando Milan out doing most of the mowing and things with Mr. Hager helping out, our 2 most tenured employees. But right now, we've created basically 2 new jobs out of some of the ordinance and things that have passed here in the last 6 or 7 months. The alleyway ordinance, where the people that were parking on those alleyways were also, a lot of the times, maintaining them for our benefit. Well, now that's not happening. So now I need somebody shredding these alleys nonstop. And I can't do that and mow and everything else, especially with the off and on rain. We've had flooding. But right now, I've been running crews at about 2 people at a time just to try to get multiple projects assembled. The way I see it, if we ran essentially,
It'll catch you.
I'll just move in here. Essentially, that would give us 3 on our park side doing the mowing and all of that. We still need somebody extra help for street sweeping and things like that. And right now, I have 5 guys total that I consider in the basic public works, water, wastewater, streets. They're kind of do it all, jack of all trades. If I had a 6th one, which we had when I first started here, I could run 2 separate crews. So then I would have 4 crews of 3 people out, knocking out, whether it's a small job, a big job. They can handle them all with 3 people. I've been doing sewer leaks 12, 14 foot in the ground by myself. So if we got 3 people, 1 on the machine, 1 in the hole, and at least 1 topside that can help out and jump in the hole as needed, we're set. And we have the tools, we have the trucks, we have everything loaded out for it. But realistically, we need to open up at least 1 more position. 2, if this new hire that's trying to pass his physicals, if that doesn't work out, then we need to open 2.
Have you made that request to David?
Yes.
David, could we look into something to where, being the people were parking there, now they're not maintaining it, could we give some sort of incentive if they were to maintain that and it would take the brunt off of the guys having to mow that? Just a suggestion.
Sure we can.
It gets
I don't know how you
difficult
attract
too.
it. I don't know how you attract
But
it,
what if someone mows our property and gets hurt?
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, it would depend on whether we asked them to. Overall, we still have sovereign immunity. We have a, we have a limit of $250,000 period, no matter what happens to them. So if they run over their foot with a lawnmower or something. But yeah, I mean, they, in theory, they could. I think realistically, out here in Colorado County, if we just said, hey, could you mow this and bring your own equipment, and they brought their own equipment and did it and got hurt, I mean, no one out here is gonna give any money. That's the reality. This isn't Beaumont or.
I mean, there's guys out there that we pay to mow these abandoned lots, these lots with high grass and stuff. We contract them to do that, and maybe we can just get someone to mow some of these alleys too. We're already gonna take the burden of the tree trimming off. We're looking into that, so.
Correct.
And I was a little skeptical of having, those people come in and just mow the alleys. We'll mow this 2 alleys for, $100, whatever. Just pay them.
As long as people are using their own equipment,
That's
there's
the main thing.
minimal liability,
Okay.
because they're responsible. And certainly if we're paying them, then they're just there in independent contract.
Contract,
We don't,
yeah.
okay.
And-
Our duty to them is minimal.
And do they need to carry insurance, or do we need to?
Well, what happens if they're mowing that alley and catch a rock and knock a window out? Who's liable?
They are,
That's their equipment.
it's their equipment, their operation.
Just think, as long as we're not held liable,
Kind of be back where it was when they were doing it on their own.
And now that we've done away with needing extra contractors for, say, construction, water lines, sewer lines, things that are a lot more costly than, say, tree trimming contracting or even mowing contracting on an as-needed basis, those would be the 2 cheapest contracting out of anything that Public Works does to contract. And that's where I wanted to get us to, where if we need a little extra help, let's do it on the cheap side versus calling in some big guns to do some giant job.
It'd be nice if we could just kind of contract those things.
Okay, sounds good.
it'd be wear and tear on their equipment, not ours.
Exactly.
Any other questions
Thanks
for
for
me?
that,
Yeah.
Michael, very good.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank y'all.
It's a dramatic turnaround in a short period of time.
It is.
On the update of the city's personnel manual, we talked about all the certifications that everybody's getting. Do the new employees, or the current employees, have to re-sign to adopt the new manual?
Yeah, we would get
They'll
everybody.
sign off if they got it.
Yeah, so
Yes, everybody.
Hope we don't lose anybody,
Oh, no,
They're signing off
because then we're gonna be hiring more people.
Well, I think right now, out of my department, the only person that's getting any certification pay is our newest hire. Because on the D operators, we're not.
Not true.
No?
For certified pool operators, get it, and it's not even in the manual until now.
Well, right, the certified pool operators, but the water operators, they do not. Water, wastewater, anything like that. And the way it's been told, and I see this side, a D is basically an apprenticeship, and you have to go on and get basically a C, which would be, act like a journeyman's in most trades. But
And we pay for the
again,
classes for them to go and their test.
yes, and any other city too, you can't get a C operator license without being under a C operator, or another operator. And the way y'all had it set up, going through a contracted operator, you cannot get qualified experience. I sat through a year of phone calls with DCEQ with the city of Brookshire, trying to get their guys who have been working water leaks, wastewater leaks, all that for years, trying to get operator licenses. They could not do so because they had contracted everything out through Infomark, MOC, or somebody else. Their employees were able to get that qualified experience, but the others were not.
Can I mention one thing since we're on policies real quick? I failed to mention this earlier during my update. We are going through the Texas Police Chief's recommended policy for police departments. It's very long, so I'm kind of going through it and narrowing out what we need and what we don't need. So I'll be presenting that too. So we'll have our own police department policy as well. So, staff it.
maybe just an additional thanks to the chief, and what a dramatic turnaround in the police department there as well. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I think we're headed in the right direction. All right, so no executive session, so there'll be no action, obviously. And then, council, anyone, future agenda items that David needs to note down for our next meeting? We have several things coming back to us already.
Yeah.
But if you have something, just let him know, let me know, and.
Yeah,
we'll
just call me
certainly-
anytime.
We'll get it on there. Announcement TML, 114th Annual Conference and Exhibition in San Antonio on November the 11th to the 13th. Maria, have you gotten any information on that yet?
It'll open for registration on August.
In August?
And I had a flyer, but I'll get y'all a copy again.
Maybe get everybody some of that again in case you want to attend
Is
that.
anybody interested in attending?
What is that?
We'll educate you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
think we talked
we
about
talked
it.
about it a little
Yeah,
bit,
it's just,
so,
I've got your name down to
Yeah.
register.
You wanna
I went
explain?
2 years ago. It's actually pretty cool.
You want to explain to Tresman what it is?
Yeah, it's just a big conference where they pretty much vendors come out and they try selling things, you know, whether it was new flow meters or hydrants, kind of anything. It's just a big conference, and then they have like classes you can sign up for to just learn things about the city, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty big packet on things you can go do.
Pretty
Classes
typical,
are 30
pretty
minutes?
typical kind of workshops.
Yeah,
Nano
30,
bubbles.
45 an hour maybe at each
Yeah,
class.
they weren't very long.
Yeah, and then we'll find some nano bubbles.
Oh my gosh, I'm nanoed out. Okay, Becky,
Well, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
amen.